Okay, I think I'm live again. I don't know why it popped that up. And we're back. Okay, so everybody is we're back up, and I'm definitely not going to use that switch again. So cool. Let me fix that on. I don't know why it's got that when it's got the USB-C picture on there, but let me. No, didn't want to do that. That's the wrong one. Share the new link on Facebook. Okay, come on, wake up. Wake up. Okay, this is not working. All right, fetching preview. Okay, cool. So we're kind of here. We're kind of here. It's kind of working, I think. All right. Oh, Mr. James Neffinger. Okay, so we're back, and probably confused a lot of people and pissed a few people off, but I'm pretty good at that. So the HDMI splitter is definitely not going to work because the streaming software doesn't know how to handle that. So what I was going to do is I've got an HDMI splitter, and what I was going to do was flip from the camera to my laptop. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something different here. That's not going to make that freak out, but I have a backup plan. And it's a good thing I have a backup plan because there was some stuff on websites I wanted to show, and so I'm just going to have to show it on the TV up here instead of using the HDMI switch, which is not a good idea, apparently. So, let's plug a few things in here, and I'll turn that on when I need to turn it on. Yep, James is now bowling famous. He's going to help me with this. So yeah, no more switch. Definitely no more switch. That didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. It messed up my recording device thing. So anyhow, I'll answer a couple of questions here real quick. I'm sorry for the ones that I missed from the other page. They're gone. So phase 2 or ProMotion, they have different applications. I thought the ProMotion was going to kick the phase 2 out of the bag. It does not, because the phase 2 needs less friction to start winding up. The spec cover is really slow on friction, and so I find that the phase 2, if I need to play around the middle of the lane, the phase 2 is better at that than the ProMotion is. But yeah, so if you had to buy one ball, ProMotion or Idle Pro, if I'm bowling on a house shot, Idle Pro. If I'm bowling on something tough, ProMotion. Hello, Mistle. Hello. High five. High five. Yeah. High five. What are you doing? I know. Hello. What? Mistle, see, you did that. Okay. Yeah, my keys were in my pocket, and the dog jumped up and set off my car alarm. It's okay, Mistle. I know it's okay. I'm going to put those here now. So, come here. I know. Come here. Mistle, there's nobody here. It's just me. You're fine. Okay, so we're actually going to talk some bowling here at some point. I'm pretty sure that this is actually going to happen. Physics versus Crux Prime. Those are a couple of the most different balls that you could pick, aside from the hook potential. The physics is kind of longer and then stronger. The Crux Prime is early and smooth. So, looking at new arsenal for heavy house shot, Crux Prime ProMotion with longer angular layout and hypercell skid polished. That's a lot of really strong stuff, but if you have higher speed and or a lower rev rate, that's probably going to be pretty good. You might want something not asymmetric. Well, I guess ProMotion in there is. You might want to get something like an Idle Pearl down there at the bottom. Would you recommend Halo Vision for lower rev player? Absolutely. Yeah, the stream was, things are not going how I planned them, but we'll be fine. So I'm probably just gonna put a timestamp in here to just skip like the first 10 minutes of this disaster. So I haven't done this for a while, so yeah. Oh, hope you thank Dougie for that win. James actually held it up the last game, by the way. When will there be Angel Share videos on the new releases? I already have footage for the IQ Emerald. She's not getting an Astro. She already does have a Pro Motion. She's getting the Idol Pro. Just the Angel, they ship me one ball to do the videos with, and so I have to wait to the time where when they become available to the rest of the staffers to order them for her. So she does have a Pro Motion. She is getting an Idol Pro. Probably not a Vision. She doesn't need that much ball. But I do have, that stuff is coming. It's just been so ridiculously busy with tournaments, and we have some other events coming up, and the summer's been wild. So I had this, like I said, I think in May, I had this series that I wanted to do called the Off Season, where I was going to make a series of videos where I would say, okay, well, during bowling's downtime, buy some stuff you wouldn't normally buy, go get some coaching, do some stuff like that. And I was going to have some videos for that, but it's August now, and I never got one of them out. So there's one that I am going to do. There's one I'm going to save for next year, because we're kind of, I mean, we just had a league meeting for fall leagues tonight. So, yeah. So yes, there will be Angel Share videos on most of the new releases anyway. It's just been hard to get to. I haven't gotten into anything. We went to Nationals the first weekend of July. I still haven't gotten that vlog done. This actually, okay, I've got problems here. Why no astrophysics for Angel? Well, part of it is that she's already got a bunch of stuff in that slot. I mean, a bunch of stuff. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna be more. And I actually got her a Code Extreme. So she's got a Code Extreme, she's got an old original Phase, the second batch that she really likes, she's got an Optimus that she really likes, and so she's got a bunch of stuff that's just all right there piled on top of each other. And she doesn't need to go through balls like, I don't even need to go through balls like I go through balls. And so most of the time, when we're going to make Angel Share videos is going to be for the stuff that she actually wants and that she's actually going to throw. So we're probably not going to have Angel Share videos for everything, just most stuff. So, Covert Tank for my birthday, what compares from Storm or Roto? I don't trust the micropolymer voodoo stuff. Well, I think that the Covert Tank has the same idea where it doesn't really absorb oil or whatever. I don't know the whole story on the Covert Tank. I think it's more of a urethane-esque reaction. James, James might know more about that than I do. Want something more than my High X, but less than my Phase 2 Halo Pearl. Thoughts? Idle Pearl is an easy fit right in there. You mentioned the MVP is sort of functioning like a hybrid Idol. Would you say it's stronger than the Idle Pearl? Probably. It's almost Sonic. Well, it's actually kind of Sonic strong. It feels like the cover is stronger on the MVP, but the core is stronger in the Sonic, which obviously doesn't make any sense if you look at the numbers. So I got a Power Lock Phase 2 Idle Pink and a Hustle Ink. I bring nightly. Power Lock never really gets pulled out of the bag in the end. Thoughts on a Power Lock replacement? It's basically a Sherlock, so you're probably looking at like a Halo. Thoughts on a Power Lock replacement? Do you want something that you're going to be able to use more often? Is that what's going on, or do you want something like the Power Lock that's different? Almost into throwing range, a little less revs, hence why I watch you a lot. Well, thanks. That definitely makes it worth it. I put a lot of time into stuff. So, Promotion 2 continuous. It's so random. Continues. It has a weird carry for my game. I can't get this ball to sit in front of the pocket unless I trick it up. The ball does not stop. Yeah, And that's the thing, is that's what they were talking about with the Crux Prime, with this the chemical adhesion thing, is that once it actually increases or it gains energy on friction, it doesn't burn energy or bleed or anything. It actually picks up. So the more friction it encounters, the more it's going to hook, the more it's going to drive, the more it's going to continue. So yeah, it's a really continuous ball. So yeah, but its spec is a different kind of a reaction. It's not typical resin, so there are some different things to it that make it a different type of ball reaction. So let's see. The drink of choice tonight is Bubbler Antioxidant Sparkling Water. This is raspberry, lime, and citrus, but it tastes like cotton candy. It's fabulous, and it's actually made with stevia, so it has doesn't have artificial sweetener, and it also has no regular sugar. So it's good stuff. Follow up, I already had the fuse, looking at 2 new balls, but really like the spec cover. Give me 2 good choices, medium speed, medium rev. Really like the spec cover, yeah, obviously. I mean, so you've got a Pro Motion then. I think that says, let me scroll back up. Yeah. Crux Prime Pro Motion, yeah, so you've already got it fused. 2 new balls. Idle Pro is a real can't miss. And yeah, actually the next comment below here is Pro Motion Astrophysics. Astrophysics, there's not really a whole lot of, the Astrophysics cover is a lot weaker than the fuse cover, so I don't think you're going to have too much overlap there. Oh boy, it's your first day back at school and all your classmates are Crunch Storm or Roto Grip bowling balls. What ball would get voted most likely to succeed? Class Clown, Prom, King, Queen. Well, the Class Clown's definitely going to be the Supersonic. That's easy. Most likely to succeed, Idle Pro, and the Prom, King, Queen is going to be the Pro Motion. So there's actually no alcohol in here, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because in like an hour and a half I'm going to talk about something. So stick around. I guess you said there may be overlap for the Halo Pearl if you had the Intense Fire. Would that be the same with the Halo Pearl Astrophysics? Not. Well, yes actually. The Halo Pearl, not the fused. I had the fused on the brain. Halo Pearl Astrophysics are slightly different shapes, really similar hook potentials. For me, the Halo Pearl is a little cleaner in the front and a little more decisive at the break point. It's more one direction and then one direction. The Astrophysics blends, it's still quicker on the back end, but it blends wet dry just a little bit better. The Halo Pearl is I don't necessarily want to say cleaner, but it's just more decisive when it hits friction. So anyhow, okay, so one of the videos I didn't get to this summer, crap, and I lost my list, but never to fear, I already had all this stuff set up, so I still know what I'm going to talk about. Is a 3.5 by 2, yeah, something I need to work on changing? Yes, definitely. Something that's that far up means that so if it's over here and it's that far up, it means that you kind of corkscrew it almost. So yeah, you probably want to work on getting the 3.5 isn't terrible. 3.5 is not terrible, it means you spin it a little bit, but that's fine. The 2 and 11/16 up is kind of rough. You want to get that more in the 0 to 1 area for more consistent roll anyway. I mean, however you throw the ball, you can make it work, but a better roll would be something under like 1.5 inches. I got a Halo Idle Hustle. What would fit between the Idle and the Hustle? There's a lot of things. Idle Pearl, definitely. Idle Pro. IQ Tour and IQ Tour Emerald. I keep forgetting about the Emerald for some reason. But anyway. And because I'm going to clip this out of the stream, I'm just going to go on ahead and read what I've got here, and I'll get back to answering questions in a minute. By the way, as long as I'm thinking about it before I forget it, this is a new jersey on the Storm website that we've got. That's an interesting little badge over here. There's Storm Nation on this sleeve over here. But this is pretty cool. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure I'll stop by the Storm website at some point. This, my first off-season video was going to be about accessories, because I've got an accessory bag that's ridiculously thick and just packed with everything. I never used to be a big accessories person, but I kept going to tournaments and finding out that if you don't have something for league, it's not really that big of a deal. But if you don't have something for a tournament, when there's several $100s on the line, and that's kind of something as stupid as like Easy Slide or something is the difference between you making money and not making money, / donating. Accessory bag has become really, really important to me here recently, and so when you think about putting together an accessory bag, it's not necessarily something that you want to spend when you're in the bowling season. You want to spend money on bowling balls and in bags or jerseys or something like that. But the summer is one of those times when I think that you could really put together a solid accessory bag and just kind of go out and buy something every couple weeks. Get yourself a couple bags of Easy Slide, get yourself some rosin, get yourself a bevel knife, a bottle of glue, stuff like that. But I have this all in video here that I'm going to go ahead and read my little script here for now, and then I'm going to clip this out, and it's going to be its own separate video eventually. Alright, welcome to the first episode of my new series, The Off Season, which was supposed to come out in May. Over the summer, most people don't bowl. If you do, it's either a tournament here or there, a different kind of league that's not available during the winter season. Generally, most of the people that do bowl over the summer don't take it as seriously or use it as practice or experience to get better prepared for the next season. Now, when it comes to purchases, people usually focus on the big ticket items like balls, bags, and shoes. But in my opinion, the most important equipment for me is, or has become, my accessory bag. I think having a complete accessory bag has been a big factor in my success over the last year. I didn't used to carry as much with me or didn't understand the importance of accessories, but I keep finding myself in situations where I needed something and didn't have it, and it ended up costing me significantly. In this video, we're going to talk about building a solid accessory bag, and hopefully it will add a few pins to your average. There are 3 really basic things that are the foundation for an accessory bag. They're a puff ball or a grip sack, a bag of Easy Slide, and tape. Those are the absolute basics that everybody should have in an accessory bag anyway. I never really understood the need for a puff ball and Easy Slide until I went to a tournament one time. I think it was last summer, where it was unbearably hot inside. My hands got so sticky, I just almost couldn't let go of the ball. I'd never had that problem before, but now I have extras of both of those. Tape is another absolute must. Due to a couple different reasons, your hands will never be exactly the same size. Mine don't swell and shrink a whole lot, but even just a couple of pieces of tape can be the difference, and you see Norm Duke fiddling with tape all the time whenever he's on TV, which is not something, if thumb hole's a little too big or a little too tight in league, it's like, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But you want a couple different kinds of tape. You want textured stuff and slick stuff. Personally, I like the turbo stuff, so the grip strips and the slick strips are pretty good, and we're actually going to take a look at the turbo catalog a little bit later here. So textured stuff is usually thicker, and so it gives you some grip if you need it. If you happen to have drier skin or something, maybe you work with your hands a lot, and maybe you work with concrete and stuff that just sucks the moisture right out of your hands, and you have dry hands, you might actually like the textured stuff. My hands are a little bit on the moisture tackier side, and so I actually like some of the slick strips in the back of the hole. So it's just for small adjustments. It'll give you a similar feel to what's already in the thumb hole. And the slick tape is also generally thinner. They do make thinner textured tape and thicker slick tape. So they actually do have some slick tape that is, thicker if you want to fill up more of the hole and you don't want to put 7 strips of slick strips in there. Next on the list is more things that will help with your fit. A couple different grits of sandpaper. So I've got actually the little wheels, a couple of the little wheels they have on like the disc sanders. that they have in pro shops. Get a couple of those, and they actually kind of fit around your finger nicely, and you can if rosin and or the puff ball, the dry ball, or easy slide doesn't quite get it done, you want to have some sandpaper with you so that you can take more out of the hole. If you're swelling, can't get the ball, even with easy slide, having some sandpaper in your bag to work the thumb out can be a lifesaver. The rougher grit is to remove the material, and then the smooth sandpaper is to smooth the whole texture back out once you've got enough of it. Now you can buy just regular sandpaper and cut it into little strips or something. That'll work just as well. Now some people might carry a rasp or a draw tool. A draw tool is, maybe you've seen, it's got a little handle, it's got a disc at the end of it. Well, the disc is sharp, and so you can actually put that down the hole, and as you pull it back out, it pulls out material with it. Now, I think that they take a little bit too much out too quickly, and it's a lot harder to control the shape of the hole. A lot of the time with the rasp, the rasp is just, it's a long metal stick basically with it's almost, it's really, really abrasive. It's really, really rough. And most of the time when somebody works a hole out with a rasp, they get too much out of the top and not enough out of the bottom, so you end up with a funnel-shaped hole, and it just tears the inside. I don't know why anybody would actually ever use a rasp, and I don't know why anybody would even invent one in the first place. But it's a lot easier to control with sandpaper. A really rough grit of sandpaper will work just as well, and that way you can control the shape of the hole so that you don't open it up at the top or create problems that way. A bevel knife is also a good thing. You can actually remove material with it and soften the edge of the hole up. Maybe even remove a burr or smooth off a cut if the ball hits funny. I mean, if you have the ball hit funny back in the pit, and then all of a sudden you've got a little cut in the top of your slug, a bevel knife will work really well to go on ahead and round that off instead of just putting the ball back in your bag. Next is something I don't personally use, but the tape that actually goes on your thumb. There's a lot of people on a lot of different brands of this stuff. My wife uses the Mint Turbo tape to put on the back of her thumb. I actually, it makes, if I put any tape on my thumb, it comes out, the ball comes off way too fast anyway. So I don't need it, but it can be a fit thing, it can be a release thing, it can be a skin protection thing. Quite a few people use it. They come in several different textures on the back for a slower or a quicker release. They can be used on any of your fingers. Some people actually rub in different areas and put it on their other fingers too. I have a friend a couple years, well, it's probably been like 10 years now, but he had a fireworks accident and he actually blew the tips of a couple of his fingers off. And so he will put some of this tape around the tip of his nub that's there, because it's a little sensitive at the end or something. So do that too. It just wouldn't blow your fingers off with fireworks if that was me, but something else I don't personally use yet, but see is a growing trend, is the rock tape. It's the kinesiology tape that has several benefits. If you haven't tried it because it seems expensive and or confusing, Turbo's YouTube channel has several helpful and short but specific and informative videos. We're actually going to go check out the Turbo site, and we're going to check out the Turbo YouTube channel here in a little bit. If you've ever been interested in trying it out, or just if you just want to understand what it is, it's the tape that you see with people put all over their shoulders and their legs and whatever else. If you want to just understand what it is, find the channel for Turbo grips and look up their several videos on the tape. Once again, we'll visit the sites there here in a minute. So outside of these things, there's a few other helpful things. Abralon pads are something that every tournament bowler should carry in case you need to alter the surface of your bowling ball. Friction's important, friction's good. You can also change the reaction shape by adding surface or by smoothing it. Maybe you have something at 1,000 grit, that's way too much in practice. Take out your 3,000 or 4,000 pad to it and see what it looks like. Extra sliding pads for your shoes can also be crucial, as well as a shoe brush. Sometimes the approaches are slicker or tackier in other centers, and of course you can't put any powder or substance on the bottom of your shoes. You can, of course, alter the texture of the pads or just change them out. And so You can actually use the shoe brush to adjust anything that doesn't come off on the approach and potentially can change another bowler's slide. That's all good and whatever. Now, if you've ever bought any of this stuff, or if you have an accessory bag with this stuff already in it, plus some of the stuff that I don't have, you know it's expensive. I mean, the accessory bag itself is going to be 20 or 30 bucks if you get one big enough to carry all this stuff. You start adding stuff up, bevel knife for $15 or $20, and then you've got the thumb protection tape that's 20 bucks for the pack or for a roll or whatever. Then the rock tape's pretty expensive, and then a bag of Easy Slide $3 or $4, and a rosin bag is $5 to $10, and then all this stuff. So putting it together, and then Abralon pads and whatever else, you can get 100, 150 bucks in an accessory bag really easily. But that's why I suggest, if you want to build one starting in May, putting in 20, 30 bucks a week or every other week or something throughout the summer so that you get something put together. So, I know all this sounds expensive, and it is, but it's also important. Summer's the time you likely won't be after the big ticket items, so you can spend the 3 months over summer gradually accumulating it all, so you don't have to go out and drop a couple $100 at the same time. I can tell you that just the addition of the grip sack and Easy Slide has made a significant difference for my bowling and my wallet. Now this is also a bunch of stuff, and fortunately enough, Storm makes deluxe accessory bags and a deluxe backpack. I've got the accessory bag on the way because mine is stuffed, and the backpack is amazing. This concludes my video, my incredibly exciting video. I'm sure you've been riveted here for the last 10 minutes. This concludes my video on accessories. Now there's several more things people carry with them, and add down in the comments on that video. Maybe there's something I didn't cover, didn't talk about, or something entirely different. Maybe unusual, or maybe some life hack type stuff that just is totally off the radar. Type them in. Maybe there's something cool out there that I don't use and could. So thanks for watching. Hope this helps you out. That is my accessories video. Oh, I still have people here, so that's great. Thank you, Matt. Oh, boy. Oh, Shay and Matthew Cross. Thanks a bunch. Thanks a bunch. Shay, what can I do to track further from the fingers and thumb hole? Actually, it's a wrist position thing. You can actually practice. I practice a lot of this stuff at home, but I actually track pretty high. My axis point is 5.5 over and 3/4 up, so I track up pretty high next to them. What you can do is just change your wrist position a little bit from just kind of straight up and down to maybe this, and kind of like a Brad Angelo type, that kind of voodoo roll thing, where he spins it just a little bit more. Instead of coming right up the back of it or right along the side of it, so the ball's rotating like this, turn your wrist a little bit to the side and spin it just a little bit. All of a sudden, instead of doing this, it kind of gives it a little bit of axis tilt, and a little bit of axis tilt's a good thing anyway. So, Matthew did not ask a question. Thank you very much, though. It's all greatly appreciated. Thank you. Yep, Mr. Bill is putting some stuff in there. James is also putting some stuff in there. I will try to get back to some questions here in a minute. We have the next thing that we're going to talk about is my logo infusion jerseys. They're actually up on the website. Here, I think I can. This isn't going to make anything freak out, so I'm going to go to the Logo Infusion website, and I'm going to turn the TV on, because they actually did put my, let me see, Logo Infusion. They put my designs on the website, so I've got to go find where the designs on the website are at, because if you've seen any of my live streams here recently, I've talked about the jerseys several times. There they are. So I'm going to turn, definitely not going to touch that. I need to move this remote because that's going to be dangerous. All right, TV's on. I think the TV's on. Okay, it says stand by. All right, standing TV. Oh, sweet. All right. I need a new picture. I know that those balls are both discontinued by now, but I really like that picture. So what we're going to do, and this is going to be difficult. This is just going to be difficult because, okay, so my shirts are down here and at the bottom, and there's a couple more colors on the next page. I can't really do anything with that. because I'm looking at it backwards here. But anyway, they look pretty plain on the. But this is the basic build of my jerseys here. So they look a little plain, but this is what they look like once you get them done. And so the idea here is to have something kind of not plain, something that's still kind of sharp for league or like regular tournaments or something, so that you can still wear this material. It's got the logo infusion thing on the side there, and just nothing on the back. It's just kind of plain, but you can see these colors here are pretty cool. And there's also, let me go to the next page here. Whoop, wrong direction. So those are 3 of the colors. A couple more of the colors that we have are the yellow and then this green. A couple of these colors, the blue, the pink, and the green, match up with the turbo bag and backpack colors. The green actually matches up really well. There's a little bit of shade difference between the pink and the blue ones, but you get the idea. The idea behind these was that anytime if you get a jersey and you wear it to a tournament, you know it's just super comfortable, and you always want to wear something comfortable to bowl in. It's like the first time you wear a golf shirt or something. It's just they're so comfortable and you just want to wear them all the time. But most people, when you go to buy a jersey, they're kind of expensive most of the time. So when you buy a jersey, you normally spend a bunch of money on it, and you get what you want to get. And so you get a cool design, or you get a custom design. You put your name on the back. You get it all tricked out the way that you want it. But you kind of feel like a tool wearing that to just league or a tournament or something. And so this kind of splits the gap halfway in between. So I actually, but when you go to design a custom jersey, even for something this simple, it's more expensive because they have the design time and they have the build time and they have whatever else. But these are my designs, and you can add whatever you want to add. You can make them kind of on the plain side like mine. It's just got the crew collar. I've got a couple of logos on here. The logo infusion, logo infusion splash actually looks really good with these brighter colors. I can't turn the. There we go. Kind of, I think maybe. The logo infusion splash actually looks really good on these, but I've got my couple logos on here showing my brands off and stuff. And so you can do something as simple as put the bolt on the front. You don't have to put anything else on there. You can add your name to the back. You can change up the collar. You can do whatever. So, yeah, it's really cool. So, since I paid for the design stuff, it's basically a stock jersey now, and the express one right there is just for $50. The other stuff starts at $60, and you can kind of build it from there. The big logos are like $10. Hashtags are $10. The smaller logos up here are $5. Changing the collar is $10. So you can get it up around $100 if you want to, but for just something simple and comfortable to wear to league, or just a regular little tournament or a little sweeper or something, those are a great kind of halfway in between where they don't cost you quite as much. If you go out and buy a golf shirt, they're going to cost you, a good one's going to cost you $50-$60 anyway. So why not get something designed for bowling? I am going to have several more colors. And I'm going to pay for the design cost for all this stuff. So it's just going to be that on the website. If they don't put the newer colors up on the website, you can still just send Brian Cooper at Logo Infusion something. It's bcooper@logoinfusion.com. Just tell him I want Luke's blue jersey design, and this is what I want on. And he'll get you taken care of. But I am going to add. We're going to add black. And we're going to add red, because those have been pretty popular requests. I'm also going to do a red, white, and blue one. I haven't figured out the combination though. I think it's just going to be the white stripe and either blue and then red logos, or red and then blue logos, or however that works. We'll find some way to switch that up. But I've got some ideas. But anyway, these are my logo infusion jerseys. I had the script all written out, but I decided to just wing it here. So anyhow, now if you're interested in any of these, you just go onto the website logoinfusion.com. It's the, let me see, it looks like it's their logo infusion. Go to shop by brand logo infusion, and then it's pages 3 and 4, so it's the end of page 3 and top of page 4. Also, if you use the code NICB, you will get 20% off of your purchase. So now, if you join the SRG BBFS group on Facebook, which is Storm Roto Grip Bowling Balls for Sale, that's run by Nick Brown, there are also exclusive group designs and other deals to be had there as well. So if you're into Storm or Roto Grip Bowling Balls, I would highly recommend you doing that. Just go join the website. There's some other stuff there. He's has some of his own designs. Some of the new ones that we just got in look really cool. Logo Infusion also makes everything here in the U.S., so if you like what you see, go get one or more started. Again, these are great they're sharp, they look nice, and instead of watching somebody walk in their jersey with their zipper and then their name on the back and whatever to league and thinking, well, okay, whatever. This is something where people will actually, oh wow, that looks sharp, plus it's comfortable, plus whatever else. So just some simple bright colors and stuff like that. So that's as long as I'm going to ramble about that. Those are very cool. Please go check out logoinfusion.com. And check out the SRG BBFS Storm Roto Grip Bowling Balls for Sale group on Facebook. I am going to, I'm going to turn that off for a second because it's really throwing the color balance off here. Very rarely is something brighter than my face. So, all right. There's the balance returning in my bright and shiny, pale face. Okay, so we covered the logo infusion jerseys. Yes, there's, okay. Scrolled around, yes, Angel put in earlier, this is the Striker jersey. This is actually on the Storm website. We're going to hit the Storm website in a minute, but this is one of the new ones. This other one is still in the bag, but this is also cool. And this is something that I would probably wear to more like a sweeper, or like we have a lot of tournaments in Kansas City. Just little stuff like that. And this is cool. I do like the zip collar. The crew neck is actually really cool too. I've never really been a fan of crew necks, but I've kind of changed that a little bit. This is also really sharp. I don't know which one this is called, but this is pretty sharp too. My watch keeps dinging. But this is a pretty cool design, and this is something that's just a little bit simpler as well. So it's something that you can still wear to league or something. I think my logo infusion jerseys are actually pretty cool too, though. Plus, there's more colors coming, so among other things. So we've gotten through that. For more oil, what to use? Supersonic, actually, I know that this question's old now, but for more oil, if you like your Sonic Pearl, I would suggest a Supersonic, definitely. Because it rolls like the Sonic, it just handles more oil. So, okay, let's see. Someone told me a promotion is just another Crux Prime, just a tad weaker. No. Nowhere close. No. I think somebody already tried. Yeah, it looks like Mr. Bill already answered the question. Promotion and the Crux Prime are two of the more different balls I've ever thrown in my life. Despite, I mean, you can tell the cover characteristics from the spec it's very, 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 very characteristic, I guess. No, Promotion's a totally different shape. Totally different shape. I see you have 3 different layouts for your idols. Was that just more for reviews, or you still use the same layouts? Typically on the reviews, I've been trying to use same layouts for most stuff, but I have kind of shifted every once in a while. I don't drill bowling balls for videos. I drill bowling balls for what I want to use once I'm done filming the videos. So I do have 3 different layouts for the idols. I do use those same layouts. I do have a second idol now, and I'm about to be onto my 3rd idol. I don't have one sitting over here because I think I gave it away to somebody. But I need another idol. I do have another phase 2 sitting here, and a hectic, matter of fact. But I've already used the crap out of the Idol Pro, so I have another one of those on the way. I'm probably going to drill that pin down because I really like my pin down Idol Pearl, which I have a second Idol Pearl now too, and I'm going to continue to drill those as well. So, if I skip some of this stuff, but hello George Mathis from like 10 minutes ago. This is so tragic. I haven't done one of these for a while. There's a bunch of stuff that I was going to fit into this too, so I actually need to pull up my, remove the display. Hold that, okay, so that hasn't, okay, so that hasn't uploaded yet. I had a list that I was going to go down through, and there's a few things I have popped up here that I was going to talk about, and some more things I was going to talk about. Yeah, dollar bills, y'all. Okay. Supersonic, Fever Pitch, Idol Pearl, Original IQ Tour Pearl, looking to add another piece of long house and sport shot patterns on 2-handed. Probably something weaker. The Original IQ Tour Pearl, Idol Pearl, Fever Pitch is a little bit on the weaker side, but Idol Pro is definitely something that I'm going to recommend for just about anybody. It's still going to be on the strong-ish side. It's going to fit under your Supersonic. That's really strong. It's going to fit between your Supersonic. Well, actually, it's going to fit under the Supersonic and the Idol. So it's going to fit between the Idol and Idol Pearl in terms of hook potential. But I've really got to recommend that one to pretty well everybody. The Pro Motion is probably something for 2-handers. It's really smooth, and so it kind of needs the revs to get it to react. Not to get it to react. It's a strong ball. I mean to react more dynamically. It's, of course, with being developed with Belmo, it's obviously, I think, going to be better for higher revs than lower revs, but my wife got one and she really likes hers. So, I feel like the new Tropical Surges, the Black Sheep of the Storm family, ball really comes alive on light. Yes. Well, the new Tropical Surges are basically what the Ride and the Joyride used to be. The numbers are almost identical and they're the same covers. So the Ride and the Joyride, especially the Ride, was the best true light oil ball, I think, ever. And yeah, it's epic. So yes, the Tropical Surges definitely need more attention than what they're getting. Had switched to lefty a month ago because of a permanent injury in my right wrist. Just happy to be bowling again. Yes, I've had to switch to lefty before. I've actually spent long enough bowling left-handed that my average is over 200, and I have my high series of 760 or 770 something. Lefty because of shoulder issues, so I spent a long time bowling lefty. It's fun to be working on something different again instead of just doing the kind of the same old thing every year. But at the same time, it is frustrating to be developing something new again. Even though you think you know what you're doing, you still got to develop the coordination. You still got to, and the left side of the lane is actually different than the right side of the lane. So you've got to relearn some angles and some hook potentials and some stuff. It's still bowling, but it's actually a lot different than you think it would be. So once you get the coordination part down, then you've got to learn ball reaction a little bit differently. So, okay. Called the Fracture Jersey. Sweet. Oh yeah, George. Son placed 22nd in Pepsi Youth and had high series in the Division States this year. Thank you for all your help with ball selection. Loves his idol. Yep. If he loves his idol, you're going to want to look at the Idol Pro. Definitely. have a Brunswick Rhino Timeless promotion, looking for something weaker than the Timeless and in between the promotion. Two-hander getting ready for first league. I think we can. The Idol Pro, the promotion technically hooks more than the Idol Pro. Technically has more traction, but the Idol Pro has quite a bit more shape, and so the Idol Pro is going to be something that acts a little bit more dynamic than the promotion, so it can seem to hook a little bit more. Now, once you get on more oil or heavier volumes, then you're going to see the difference. But yeah, Nick Brown. Yep. What's up? Yeah, the new Roto balls are ridiculous. I've had a couple people where I've just been. I mean, the Idol Pro is a top 3 Roto grip ball all time, like ever. And I've already had, naturally because I'm on staff, I'll have some people, oh, you're being a homer, you're biased or whatever. Like, no. As soon as you throw it, everybody has said, dude, this thing's ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, I know. I already told you. And I wasn't lying. So, yeah. Yeah, Hustle AU, Mark, is going to be pretty good to start off with for the lefty game. The reaction is stronger on the left side of the lane. The back end reaction is stronger. And so generally weaker stuff is okay for a little while, but then you actually want stronger stuff more for shape control more than anything. On the right side, you got to deal with the hook potential. Sometimes you can get stuff that hooks too much, but you actually want, but it's a hook thing on the right side, but it's a shape thing more on the left side. So, yep, Idol Pro is the truth. Yep, yep. James contract nipping in the house. Yep. We have 18 games of UBA Battle Bowl this weekend, and if you want to see the throwdown match against Kyle Troop and Pete Weber that James Niffen had with Dougie something or other, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. But that was interesting. The winners of that match, if the UBA bowlers won, they each got a storm contract for a year. James Niffen and his partner Dougie did win, and so James has gotten himself a new storm contract for the next year. So yeah, wow, I love what I'm hearing. My Idol Pro and MVP arrived Monday. Yeah, and the MVP is just on another level of ridiculousness. So Dougie Heron, yep. Who's actually freaking hilarious. So Flow Bowling, go on to Flow Bowling, look for Battle Bowl. When can you consider going to tournaments? What's a good start for a first tournament format? The easiest thing to do for tournaments is just bowl like your local city or state tournament. Which the city tournaments, it seems like there's a bunch of people in the house and it's a tournament, but you're really bowling just a couple of league sets is what you're doing. And it's a little bit more money, and so it's one of those things that you think, well, I'm going to a tournament. This is city or this is state or it's actually not that big. It's not that big of a deal. So if you can look at it that way as just going to get some experience, city and state tournaments are not going to be too expensive, and you don't have to obviously put in brackets or get in all events or anything like that. Just enter the events. Normally they're like $25-$30 a piece, so you can be all into the tournament for $75 to $100. It's some good experience just to get in the tournament mindset of, if you're at league, obviously you want to score, you want to win stuff, but if you don't, it's not that big of a deal. You just go bowl again later. City and state, anytime you're in a tournament, you got to score, and you got to score good then. And so it kind of gets you some experience, but without, if obviously you don't do that well, and it's $80-$90 or something like that, which sounds like a lot of money, which when you get in tournaments is actually not very much money at all. But yeah, it's just get into tournaments, and that's the one thing, is that you just gotta bowl. There's no right time to do it. There's no you probably don't want to pick bigger tournaments. So like I said, city and state tournaments, little sweepers, if they have some around your area, you probably want to do that type of stuff. Don't get anything big or high dollar, anything like that, but you just got to get into them and bowl them, and you just got to get used to them. It's an experience thing. So, yep, Idol Pro is so good. MVP is really good with Surf, and Halo Vision is going to be extremely good on those fresh, crispy patterns. Yeah, the Halo Vision just hooks off the planet. The Idol Pro is ridiculously good. We'll post the flow link in a second. Cool. Luke, how much do you like your IQ Emerald? I did have a donation here, so I'm going to skip to that. I'll come right back to you, Rico. A 1 year bowling. I can't wait to start my first sanctioned league, the PBA league over the summer. Yeah, one more sadly coming up on last week. I have a 170 average on sports, so I think I'll do good on THS. Yeah, if you average 170 on a sport league, a PBA league where they change the shot every week or even every 2 weeks, 170 average on sports is going to translate to probably 190, 200-ish on a regular half shot league. Of course, the patterns do play differently. Some people have a game that's built more for sport shots, and some people have a game that's built more for league shots. But George Math, okay. So yes, definitely. Thanks a bunch for the donation, by the way. In case I didn't mention that. So yeah, I can't wait to start your first sanctioned league. Yeah, they're a lot of fun, especially if you bowl with the right people and don't try to be too competitive with it. Just try to bowl your best, have fun, and that's the point of leagues. I mean, if going to leagues every week sucks, then nothing else is going to be fun. So, let's see. How much do you like your IQ Emerald? I didn't like it a whole lot at first, because it kind of quit on me down lane, but now that the cover's broken in a little bit, which is funny to say because R2S doesn't usually require a break-in period. It was okay for the video, and I could see where a lot of people were going to like it, but it was giving me a few fits. But now that I've kind of understood what the ball wants to do, it likes to be slow rolled. It likes to be slow rolled. And don't try to force shape out of it, just get it off your hand nice and easy, let it roll, and it'll do work. So yep, Niffen, Heron versus Weber and True. Check it out. George Mathis, what can I do to help him get recognized by bowling coaches' advice, opinions? Really what you have to do is you just have to get out there and bowl stuff. Junior Gold is a big thing because there's a bunch of colleges that go out there, and there's like a trade show day or something like that. You can go check out a bunch of different colleges and talk to a bunch of different coaches. The easiest way to get him recognized by bowling colleges is going out and bowling stuff. Just get him entered in as much stuff as you can get him entered in, and obviously success at Junior Gold will help. That's a decent amount of pressure. So don't go too hard and heavy into it or put too much pressure on him. But just getting out and bowling stuff. I mean, that's how guys like Wesley Lowe who is one of the coolest guys on the planet, by the way. That's how Wesley Lowe is who Wesley Lowe is. He just bowled a lot of stuff. He was good. He did well at Junior Gold. I think he won a couple of years. And that's how he's at Wichita State. So, yeah, agreed 100% on the just do it for tournaments. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's a good point, James. Improve at adapting to different environments, and that's why we did that's why the accessory bag thing, I think, was so important, or why it was weighing on me, because when you get used to bowling at your local centers, you know what you got to do to make things work there. But sometimes you go somewhere and the approaches are really tacky, or it's really hot in there, or it's really cold in there. You go to all these different environments and you just learn you just have to get the experience, number one, and then you learn how to succeed in all those different environments. So just experience, period. Just go get the experience. So, late to the party, but congrats to James. Yep. Okay, so we're to the end of the questions right now. I'm going to go into my Big Four socks review, and we're going to turn the TV back on for this one because I want to go to the Big Four website, and I forgot to bring the dagnabbit socks down, but we're going to put them up on the TV. So, turn the TV back on, get my face back off the camera. Well, it's still going to be on the camera. Unfortunately, my face is just going to be on the camera. All right, so we got that back up. Okay, that thing's there, but I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to... Whoa. There we go. All right, so Whoops, back over here. Show. Too bad you don't have a wife watching that can help. Interesting. Okay, so what is that? What is that? I can't even see what that says. Uses cookies. I don't care. I like cookies, actually. I'm a big fan of cookies. Got it? All right, so Big 4 performance bowling socks. Performance bowling socks are a thing, believe it or not. Mr. Bill Walker, if you look in the, if you look at the chat here, Big 4 socks are the shizzle. I have 5 pairs now. I have 3 pairs. Mr. David Slavin, who is the owner of Big 4 socks, sent me some. Oh, okay, so that's what we were talking about. I do have them up on the, yeah. I actually have the Big 4 socks. Mr. David Slavin, the owner of Big 4 socks, the Big 4 performance bowling socks, saw my Belmo socks review. And if you think talking about socks is funny, this is no laughing matter now that I have performance bowling socks. It's no laughing matter anymore. And you'll have to pardon me for a minute, but it is hot as bork down here. So, I don't know why. My face just swept like crazy. But we're just going to do this and not be embarrassed about it. Same thing happens in a bowling alley. Which goes right into my point about Big 4 bowling socks. He saw my Belmo socks review and was interested in me trying them out, so he sent me a few pairs. And these are better than the Belmo socks. They're also cheaper. The first thing that you notice about the Big 4 socks when you go to the website is that they actually have some pretty big names on their pro staff. So if we go over here to staffers, go to PBA Tour staff, and in case you never knew, Ronnie Russell, EJ Tackett, Matt Ogle, Tom Hess, and Graham Faw. If you go to the PWBA Tour staff, Shannon O'Keefe and Liz Johnson, those are a couple pretty big names. Regional Tour staff, I think that's all that they've got for now. I don't think they have a whole. I think they've got area the Ball State teams, amateur tour staff. I don't think they have anybody there, but they've got some pretty big names that are wearing their socks. So we're going to go to Big 4 socks. They do have a sock size and they do have a chart. They do have several different attractive colors, and these are actually nice. I mean, they're attractive looking socks. One of the things that gets me about the Belmo socks is that they're cheesy bowling socks. They look like cheesy bowling socks. And I still do like the socks. I still do like the Belmo socks. Don't get me wrong on that. But the two big things is they look cheesy as hell because they say Belmo and they have arrows on them and they say 300 on them, so they look like cheesy bowling socks. Plus, if you want to pick up all the hair in your house, better than a frickin' Swiffer. I mean, if you actually bought Belmo socks and put them on the end of the wand and use that as a Swiffer, they're better at picking up hair, dust, and whatever than an actual Swiffer is. So Swiffer probably should get on that and figure out whatever the hell they make Belmo socks out of, because those things will pick up absolutely everything and they'll be really hard to get off. Now, the Big 4 socks. When I go film videos, I bowl really, really fast because I don't want to cut down. I don't want to cut down that much video. If I take my time and whatever else, I have like a minute in between shots. Well, I'm going to have a 20-minute video for 20 shots. That can't happen. So I throw the shots absolutely as quick as I can. I bowl usually for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and so I look like I've just been running a marathon or something like that. And so when I take my shoes off, I just used to wear cotton socks, and I take my shoes off, and so then my feet would be my socks would be sopping wet. It's just always uncomfortable sticking them back in my dry tennis shoes and just feeling grimy and sticky and nasty and whatever else. Cover up those outlets with jerseys or something. Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. I've actually got something in the works, believe it or not, that's really, really cool. It's really, really cool. And should be on the way. Very cool. Anyhow, we're talking about Big 4 performance bowling socks. So these are all the different colors they have. He sent me the red ones, the blue ones, and the pink ones, I believe. I can't remember. But yeah, he sent me the red ones, the blue ones, and the pink ones. I'm pretty sure. So they all look really sharp to begin with. If we go to, let's see, About Us, let's actually go back to the home. That was David Slavin, by the way. And so basically what it says on the website is I didn't even look at the website before I sent him kind of my review or my thoughts about him, what I thought about him. And I basically almost said word for word what is up here. So if you say, okay, well, obviously they're going to market their product and they're going to say whatever. This is, if you go to the website and look at it, that's actually what I think about the socks. He's not blowing smoke or anything. So the first thing I thought about these was that they're a little bit on the thicker side. They're a little bit thicker than cotton socks. And I thought, okay, well, they feel comfortable, but this is going to be a nightmare. Because, I don't need thicker socks, I need thinner socks. I did get some thinner socks. After I got the Belmo socks, I tried out a bunch of different pairs of socks, and thinner stuff is just definitely not where it's at because they don't absorb moisture at all, and then they get super uncomfortable and you start sliding around a bunch in the shoes, and it's just not great at all. So the thickness, part of the reason for the thickness is it absorbs quite a bit of moisture, and this material is really great, so it absorbs quite a bit of moisture. Also, at the same time, it fills up the spots between, because no shoe is ever going to fit you like perfectly form-fitting. This actually fills up the room between your feet and your socks and gives you a snug feeling in your shoes without being tight. And so it just feels very snug. And the biggest thing that I can say about the Big Four socks is that when I'm wearing them, I don't notice my feet. Or I don't notice the socks at all. I don't notice, they're comfortable, but they're comfortable to the point where I don't notice them, basically. So that's actually a good thing that I don't notice them. Because most of the time I notice my feet being uncomfortable because my feet are sweating and it's not comfortable. So this, I just don't notice anything going on with my feet, so they're that comfortable. They've also got this little compression sleeve thing here in the middle of your foot, in the middle here, so yeah, the extra compression helps support your arch during activities or just daily wear. I actually do whenever I'm not bowling. I've actually taken to wearing these, especially for work, because I inspect bridges, and so I have to put on these pairs of rubber boots and go tromping around outside a lot, and it gets really, really warm, and these actually are very comfortable. So they breathe better and draw the moisture away from your feet better than most athletic socks. They have all the fancy, the denier acrylic nylons and spandex yarns. So the extra cushion helps fill the gaps of your bowling shoes. There also is extra cushion to them there. The extra compression in the arch helps support your arch during activities or daily wear. They also don't attract hair like crazy. And if you do get any hair on them, you just wipe it off and it just comes right off. Belmo socks, you got to sit there with and pluck and pull and whatever else. So again, I still do like the Belmo socks. They have a few things going on with them that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of, but these are great. I really, really enjoy these socks. And something that I told him, I said, well, the good thing about having a good product is I said, people are going to think it's funny reviewing bowling socks, and he's like, yeah, I get that, but he says the best marketing thing ever is when you have a really, really great and solid product. You don't have to try to say anything. He just normally tells people, he's like, well, just buy a pair, and I'll just buy a pair, and that's all it'll take. So you don't have to go on and go into the website and think, okay, well, I'm going to buy a couple different pairs of these, because if you buy one pair, you will be buying more pairs of them. So that's all it really takes. He doesn't have to say, oh yeah, well, make sure that you get, a pair for every day of the week or whatever. Just buy the first pair and you'll find out, and you'll go back and you'll buy the other 7. So, yeah. So again, let me pull up my review. I'm just YOLOing all this stuff, so I'm not going to be able to clip any of this. So let's see if anything that I mentioned here. I think I got everything. Done. So yeah, I actually got everything covered there. So I would highly recommend getting some Big Four bowling socks. Again, they're $13 for a pair, and then shipping's a couple bucks or whatever. So very nice. I don't know what do they have on. Okay, they got a couple of towels and things for or they got a grip sack and a towel. But the socks are what's going to be the thing, and they go all the way up to size 15. The Bumble socks don't go up that high. So, yeah, a pair of Big Four socks. Yeah, I can just put a sock in front of there. Oh boy, what are we doing here now? Shout out to CTD and polish your ball for a few seconds by hand. Get out of here, Ronald. Oh, balls. Sitting there at his CTD table by the front door looking hella bored. I'm not going to get into that one. There's plenty of things I could say that I'm not going to say about that. But anyhow, Big Four socks are really, really comfortable. They're really legit. I'm going to order more pairs of them for myself, just to wear around, period, because they're actually that big. It's kind of, the thing that I want to say is it's like wearing a bowling jersey for the first time. It's like, oh, you just didn't know what you were missing. And you think that people that wear bowling jerseys or that wear performance bowling socks are just being tools or morons or something until you do it, and then you're a convert, and then you realize how ridiculous it really isn't. So, Big Four bowling socks, I'm a big fan. Really think you should try them out. Definitely, definitely. Okay, so we're done with that. So I'm all caught up on this. So we're going to go to the next thing, which is the Turbo website. We talked about some of the accessories and stuff like that. So we are going to go over to the Turbo website, and we're going to look at some of the, and see, this is why I wish the HDMI switch would have worked. Because if it would have worked and it wouldn't have freaked the thing out, I could have put it on the screen here, and so I could have actually watched it on the screen, so I don't have to turn around and do this stuff. Highly advise you to check out the Turbo website, because there's a bunch of stuff on here that I can guarantee you didn't know about. The finger inserts, let's see, I use the Quad Classics. You can see that they got all kinds of different things. They got power ones, they've got regular quads. They also have the classic, the Quad Classic Pro, which are harder grips. They're not quite as soft as the typical grips, and so they actually there's some people that don't use grips specifically because they either tear up the grips too fast, or the grips are soft enough, or they got soft enough skin that it actually tears up their fingers, so they have to just deal with it and not use grips. These are kind of a halfway in between. So if you want to use grips but can't because they give you blisters or whatever else, the Quad Classic Pros are quite a bit firmer or harder than the regular grips, and so they're going to be, it's just a different texture thing that's going to be a little bit easier on your fingers. Now, I use the Quad Classics, and I use specifically the Quad Classic Ice because they're super, super crazy tacky. And because they don't have the little nubs or anything, so I can just use this end, and they don't have the texture on one side or the other. They're just smooth, period, all the way around. So I actually like the Classics quite a bit. Now the thumb solids and inserts, these are just kind of your normal stuff. Oh, okay. I'll answer this question real quick. No staff or bias, rank the new 6 balls from Storm and Roto, please. God, it's really tough. Right up at the top are the Pro Motion and the Idle Pro, and it just depends on what I'm bowling on. House Shot's the Idle Pro, Sport Shot's the Pro Motion. Just because of the different friction response. The Pro Motion's quite a bit smoother and a lot more controllable. The Idle Pro has got that length and boom down at the end that's really helpful on a house shot. That's what I think about those. The IQ Tour Emerald is probably number 3 because it's just kind of a can't miss. It's really clean, but it's really smooth and controllable off of friction for how clean it is in the front part of the lane. The MVP is probably next. because it's just stupid. I don't know when I haven't actually gotten to throw it a whole lot, but I threw it for the video, and I'm like, okay, well, this is just all manner of stupidity that I'm going to have to get a few more games on it, but it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy what it does. The astrophysics is probably number 5. I don't. It's familiar. The reaction with the emerald is familiar because they both got the same cover stock. I don't need asymmetric stuff very often though. So the astrophysics is going to be heavier, longer stuff. And then the Halo Vision, not because it's a bad ball, but because there's no way in heck that I'm ever going to be able to throw it. Ever, ever, ever. There's no reason for me to ever throw it unless I'm bowling on Badger or something. So, yeah. The MVP is definitely insane for the price. So, personally speaking, Pro Motion Idol Pro are tied for 1. Just because it really depends on what I'm bowling on. But they're equally as heckin' awesome. The IQ Tour Emerald is next, the MVP after that, Astrophysics. Halo Vision, more in the order that I'm actually going to throw them, but I will be throwing the Idol Pro and Pro Motion a bunch. Tons and tons. Yeah, 6 hustle links, that's hilarious. Trying to build an arsenal, give me some help. Balls go from strongest to weakest. Halo Vision is the strongest thing out there, period. Just that. So if you were building a 6-ball arsenal of strong down to weak, I would go Halo Vision, Halo Pearl, Idol Pro, Idol Pearl, High Road, Hustle Inc. Probably what I would do. And I would love to, again, I'd love to have the Pro Motion. I think the Idol Pro is going to get more use for the majority of people because most of what you bowl on is going to be a house shot. So I think that the Idol Pro would actually get more use. The High Road is just the frickin' High Road. I prefer the Idol Pearl to the IQ Tour Emerald, but those are interchangeable really. And then the Hustle Inc. is just stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Would you say asymmetrical balls are a good choice for a low rev player? Yeah. I mean, if you have low revs, you're going to want to go asymmetric with the majority of your stuff. And with something like the Astrophysics, which has a weaker cover on a stronger core, most asymmetric stuff is just strong for days. But having something like the Astrophysics is really nice to give you something so that everything doesn't hook so much. Anyway, back to the Turbo website. They have the Excel. They have these old thumb solids. They used to have these vinyl inserts that were the most awful thing that ever existed in the history of ever. Now the duo color thumb solid. These are just regular urethane, 100% urethane thumb slugs. I did used to use the Vice IT system before I signed with Turbo, but I stopped using it before I signed with Turbo because their thumb slugs are not 100% urethane and they feel like tacky, and I just hate the feel of the Vice slug. I just hate them. Let's see, products. Let's go to Switch Grip. You know what that's about. The skin protection, the fitting tape here. They got all kinds of different stuff with this, and this is what I talk about. My wife uses the Mint fitting tape here. It's got the slowest release, so she is more using it for protection for the back of her thumb. She's not trying to get out of it. She's not trying to manipulate her release with the tapes. But they've got several different tapes here. Something like this, something like a little multi-tool that I didn't mention, but something like this could be really, really helpful. It's on a keychain there, so that's pretty cool. The Power Grip tape is actually something, finger protection tape. It's shaped so that you can kind of roll it around the top of your finger and use that. I know I have a couple friends that use that. Scissors. How many times have you gone to SM? Hey, do you have a pair of scissors or something? These are helpful for trimming down. So if you don't want to use the whole piece of tape or you want to trim something up a little bit, those are nice. Tape storage case, it's not necessary, but it's helpful, useful. Neon accessories. I really, really like the Turbo, the way that all the Turbo stuff works, and that's actually kind of the inspiration for my jerseys and stuff. is they have these bright, vibrant colors that look sharp without being, toolish or whatever. So they have all this stuff. They do have puff balls and stuff with my Storm thing. If Storm makes it, that takes precedence over the turbo stuff. So most of the stuff I use is Storm just because it needs to be. But Angel actually uses a lot of the turbo stuff because she can. These are the grip strips I was talking about, so you can see the texture here. Probably not on here, but if you go on the website, you can see the texture here. These towels are really cool. These little accessory cases. These are probably a little small on the small side. I've got mine just jam-packed. My Storm one just jam-packed full. The slick strips are it's just basically like black tape, like everybody makes. It's thin, it's slick. It doesn't change the texture of the hole a whole lot. It just kind of fills things. It just kind of fills up a little bit of room. And those are really, really good for controlling more precisely the size of your thumb hole. So I really like the slick strips. I don't use the grip strips quite so much because they're thicker and they're textured. I just don't really need that. Sometimes I do, especially when it gets into winter and it's just really cold. That does help out a lot. Plus, here's a life hack that I use. I carry around both the grip strips and the slick strips, and if my thumb is shrunk significantly and I don't want to put like 8 pieces of slick strips in there, I will actually take a couple of the grip strips, put those in first, and then I'll put the black tape or the slick strips over top of them, so I can fill the hole up, but get the texture or the feel that I want. So that's a little life hack there. Put one of those in there first. You can do that on the front side of the hole or the side or whatever. I just normally put it on the back. But putting a grip strip in there before a slick strip fills up more of the hole, and it still gives you the texture you want. So that's cool. And of course, all this stuff comes in bulk. These little phone fans are hilarious. I have this thing, having these are phone fans. This is a fat fan. So when you're getting all sweaty because you're out of shape, because you're a bowler, I don't know how I'm out of shape. Well, I know how I'm out of shape, actually. I know exactly how I'm out of shape. Anyway, those are kind of their neon accessories as we go down to the rock tape products, and this is something I'm going to flip it over to the YouTube channel here in a minute. Turbo, for some reason, they have a lot of great stuff on their YouTube channel, but they don't get any views. Nobody subscribes to them. Highly recommend going and subscribing to the Turbo YouTube channel. There's a lot of helpful information, especially about their rock tape. So they have kind of the tape instruction. They have several different. They tell you what the deal is with it. They tell you about it. They have step-by-step short videos, so it's not like you go watch a 30-minute video about, okay, we're going to put tape here, now we're going to put tape here, now we're going to put tape here, or whatever. They have individual videos for individual places that you would put the tape that are like 3 or 4 minutes long. So it's easily digestible. They're really short and to the point. But it kind of shows you without the rock tape, compressed pain receptors, compressed lymph vessels, compressed muscles. So when you put the rock tape on, it decompresses all of that stuff. So they have all kinds of stuff on here, and obviously the rock tape it's expensive. The rock sauce, fire and ice, that stuff is legit. It's the same type of ideas like Icy Hot or BioFreeze or something like that. But I had a buddy of mine who his shoulder, we were bowling a tournament a couple weeks ago, and his shoulder just started killing him. And so instead of the Icy Hot, which is a little bit of both, the fire is just warm. And the ice is just cool. And he says, he's like, this is bugged me, it's been sore, but I've used Icy Hot and I've used BioFreeze and stuff, but this stuff's great. It's just warm and it just loosened it up. He really did like the fire, and so it's along the same lines, but it's a little twist on the product. And so I actually carry both the fire and ice with me. I prefer the fire because it's warmer. The ice is nice if your arm's already on fire, or anything else is on fire. But you can see where the tape is kind of expensive, and so I can see where somebody would look at that and go, I don't need to be wearing that to league, another one of those other tooly things. But if you need the support, it can work really well. And like I said, they've got several videos on their YouTube channel. It's got all kinds of information that you'd want to know if you even had the slightest interest in checking this stuff out. So back up to this bags and cases. This is probably my favorite page on the Turbo website. Favorite page, definitely, because it's got all these bags and accessories. So you can see all the different accessory and bag colors, and you remember the jerseys. Orange kind of had this idea, and the blue one and the pink one and whatever else that was back on the it was back on the logo infusion site that we had up. So that was kind of the idea, was I was trying to match these turbo colors. So yeah, the 3-ball travel totes, the accessory cases, whatever like that. The backpacks are really nice. Angel's pretty well all turbo stuff. She's got a turbo backpack. She's got a couple of the turbo totes, and they're all different colors and everything. There's your deluxe accessory case, which, like I said, it's $40 for an accessory case, so understandable. But with all the crap that you would need to carry around or would want to carry around, there's a lot of bowling accessories that you don't know what you're missing until you try it. It's just like the socks and jerseys and whatever else. The rabbit holes is as deep as you want to chase that little sucker. But that's all really cool. The apparel stuff, they do have some pretty sharp looking stuff, but I can't wear it, and so I don't really pay too much attention to it. But they do have some sharp looking stuff. I really like these hoodies. The hats are kind of cool. I'm not a hat guy because I look even more ridiculous than I already do in a hat. But some of this stuff is pretty cool. I do like the kind of Captain Picard looking captain thing or whatever. And they do have, I really like these. I really like these. I'm probably going to get me one of these jackets and just put a Storm logo on the other side. They prefer me to wear Storm stuff if I've got it, but I really like these jackets. Those are really sharp. Other cool stuff. Let's see what's in other cool stuff. Oh well, no. Okay, grip tape, bowling psychology, some strike wipes, gamer grip. They actually got a video on gamer grip, and that stuff's really interesting because it dries. It's like a puff ball, but it dries your hand off without getting residue on it, and it dries your hand off without making your hand tacky. It's a really unique feel. You kind of rub it in, and then all of a sudden your hand is just dry, and it kind of resists moisture and whatever else. So it's interesting. So anyway, that is the Turbo website. We're going to go really quickly to their YouTube channel, and this is all the kind of stuff that you can find on the YouTube channel. And if you look at this, at 120 views, 130 views, 103 views, 87 views, I don't understand some of this stuff, but if you scroll down here further, they've got the rock band flex techniques, hemp rock tape. If you go down here further, rock tape application for inversion ankle sprain, recover with rock tape, finding the right pro shop technician, alleviating back pain with rock tape. So they've got a bunch of really good stuff on here. Alternate knee taping application, proper posture. They've got a bunch of, and look at this. Look at, as soon as you get down here, there's for your leg, there's for your shoulder, for your back, for your wrist, for your arm, for your knee, for your heel, for anything. And it's, like I said, they're just a couple little short videos. They're all a minute, 15 minute, 10, 2 minutes, whatever. So they've got a bunch of really good stuff on their YouTube channel. I just don't know why there's not more subscribers, there's not more people checking out these videos. It just doesn't make any sense. So I would highly suggest going and subscribing to the Turbo YouTube channel and watching some of these videos. So, yes. Why didn't you just mirror the laptop screen? I didn't even know that you could do that. I didn't know that you could do that. Ethan, yes, the stream will be uploaded so I can watch it after. You're probably going to want to fast forward through the first 10 minutes because I had an oopsie. Mirror the laptop screen. I didn't even know you could do that. So I'm going to have to find somebody that's a lot smarter and younger than I am to figure that out because I don't even know how to do that. So, yeah, the Turbo, again, it is one of those things you think, well, Turbo makes grips, but they've also got really cool stuff on their website. I really, really like the stuff, and if I could use it, I would be using it. I obviously like the Storm stuff. We're going to go check that stuff out right now, actually. So yeah, I'm just going to keep being a moron here because I don't know how to mirror the screen or whatever. So we're going to look at the back of my head a lot, and I'm probably going to wake up with a neck ache or something like that. Okay, we don't need to look at the bowling balls. We need to look at the different stuff like the clothing. So with my nice new jersey on here, that's actually the striker jersey that Chad Guns McLean fills out so nicely, and there's a couple different pictures. There's a couple different colors. That one's actually pretty sharp too, but for some reason I just really like this one. The colors seem to stand out. I really like the teal in the middle here. This is more orange than I'd ever need with the rest of my orange. But that's actually the shirt model here. Chad Guns McLean is the technical director. He's the guy that designs and builds all of the bowling balls from Storm that we get to throw. So he's the guy that's kind of in charge with that stuff. He also works out too much. There's that. There's Megan Stiver. She's she's the lady that takes care of all of our accounts and everything. Of course, Steve Klomkin, not Alex, that's Zach Trevino. Don't know who he is. That's Kendall Miles. So they do have some pretty cool stuff. This is the Fracture jersey that I got. I got the blue one. But you can see that they also have a red one and a gray one, depending on what you're after, and they're really not that expensive. You like Storm? That's a shock. Yes, I'm kind of on staff, so kind of on staff. The Upsy was pretty dang funny. The car alarm the car alarm the dog set off. But yeah, the dog set it. It was the dog's fault. I'm gonna blame the dog. Has some regular T-shirts and stuff. But if you look at all this stuff, that's where the my logo infusion designs come in. Is because some of this stuff is I don't wearing cotton T-shirts to league. No, just a heck no. That jacket's pretty sharp. I like that one. Pullover's pretty nice. That's a little plain, but it's, again, plain is kind of, the way to go sometimes. They have the kind of the specialty jerseys there. The trucker hats. I don't understand the trucker hats, but again, I don't understand hats. There's the grunge jersey. Here's that I actually have. There's the orange one. I've got the yellow one, which looks pretty sharp. I do have a couple of Storm Nation jerseys. The hoodie, some polos, and I've got one of those too. I really like that. That's really sharp. Definitely like that. Let's see, accessories. They have all kinds of stuff on here. Chamois is something you should never be without. I use pretty exclusively the pink ones. I've got 5 or 6 more of them laying around here somewhere because I'm just too lazy to clean them. The Aberlon pads and stuff, the scented grip sacks. I can't stand the black one because it's vanilla and it's just a really cloying scent that I don't like. But this is blueberry and the red one is cherry, so I use those a lot. Let me see. I haven't used a deluxe chamois. It's got one side that's the chamois side that's got the other side for cleaning afterwards. Is there any difference between a chamois and just a regular towel? Yes. Yes. The round Storm chamois mitt is awesome. Yeah, I just used the regular chamois, but yeah, there's a big difference between a chamois and a regular towel. The chamois sucks. The chamois sucks all the oil off the ball. It doesn't suck. I split in the wrong spot, chasing a rabbit trail. The towels, or even like the microfiber towels, tend to just kind of smear the oil all around the ball and don't really get a whole lot of it off. The chamois sucks it right off the ball, and this prevents the oil from getting into the cover stock as much as possible. When I started using a chamois, I could tell a huge difference in how often I had to detox the ball, and now I don't have to detox them anymore. part of the reason for that is that they don't last very long anymore. There's always something new to throw. There's always something new coming out. But for stuff like I've got a couple balls that my Phase 2 that I've used for this one that I drilled. The last one I drilled was in October. I've used the crap out of it for 9 months now and haven't had to detox it once. So huge difference. The Stormoji ones are pretty fun. I've got one of these. It smells like lemon pledge. It really smells like lemon cleaning fluid. But again, they're pretty cool because they've got well, actually, this is just the funny one. They don't have all the different. They have a funny one. They have an angry one. They have a bunch of different stuff. Anyhow, I'm getting bored, so I'm gonna. I've got one of these quarter balls. These are really fun. So you can go check out all this stuff on your own. They got the happy one. They got the angry one. They got the funny one. They got whatever else. The quarter balls and the half balls are really cool. So anyway, I think this is going to conclude all some of the ball videos I didn't get to, but whoops. Okay, shut that off. There we go. Yep, thanks for the info. Looks like definitely get a chamois. Very highly recommend the chamois. Another thing that you may notice is that I haven't. Oh boy, guys in the chat, can you answer this last question that got posted here in the chat, because I don't want to answer it live on a video. Thank you. I also haven't done any 2-month report cards for a while, and there's a reason that I didn't do for one of them. The other ones is just I haven't gotten to anything that I wanted to get to this summer. It's been ball reviews, and it's been mostly ball reviews and a crap load of tournaments. I've had a bunch of tournaments this summer, and when we don't, the weekend that I don't have a tournament is a weekend to catch up or just whatever else. I'm on the city association board, and we had lane certification to do, and we had a couple trips, and we had just all kinds of stuff. It's just been a ridiculous summer. Now, I was intending to do a 6-month report card on the Crux Prime because of the thing with the cover that, the spec cover that doesn't absorb oil. There's documentation on that, by the way. The USBC has that absorption test that they came out with, and the Crux Prime is at 5 hours, which I think urethane's 7 hours or something like that. So which is negligible. Which once you get over like 10 or 15 minutes, it's just nothing. This covers at 5 hours. So what they do is they drop a couple drops of oil on the ball, and they just time it to see how long it takes for the oil to get completely absorbed into the ball. And it's not even absorbing into the ball, it's just gravity is kind of dispersing it into the pores of the ball or something. So I was going to wait and give it more time, because 2-month report cards are more for how's the ball, not so much how it's holding up, am I still using it, what do I think about it 2 months down the road, because everybody can get a ball and drill it and like it initially, but after you've used it for a couple months, are you still using it? Is it holding up? Is it whatever else? And so I want to do a 6-month report card on the Crux Prime specifically to see, specifically to really put the cover through its paces, because the two things, like I said, is the oil absorption and the chemical adhesion. Which chemical adhesion makes stuff want to stick to it. It's a different little new facet of bowling ball reaction. And actually, again, it's got the highest dry lane coefficient of any cover that they make. Coefficient of friction. And so instead of like heavier oil balls that tend to burn up or bleed energy on friction, this stuff actually gains energy or increases entry angle on friction. So the more friction this stuff gets on, almost the better it almost reacts, is basically the way to say that. The Crux Prime is a different type of ball motion. It's really chuggy. It's really slow down lane. It's really smooth on friction. And so some people have gotten along with it, some people haven't. But from a maintenance perspective, I have not cleaned the ball once. I have not detoxed the ball once. I just throw it, and if I need the surface rougher, I just use Abralon. And I can tell you that after a bunch of use, I actually also used it to throw at my spares, because if it doesn't absorb oil, I can use that as the hybrid spot in my bag, so I don't have to carry around a spare ball. I've never really carried around a spare ball to begin with, but if I have another ball in the bag that does absorb oil, I'm, kind of putting some wear and tear on it, throwing it at 10 pins or, something like that. But with the Crux Prime, I'm not going to hurt it. With that cover stock, I'm just not going to hurt it. And so I wanted to test that out. And so I used it quite a bit. I averaged 250 something with it for the couple months that I used it before the Halo Pearl came out, which inevitably took over the spot there. When I started using the Halo Pearl, then I started using the Crux Prime as my spare ball, and so it's got a lot of use on it. It's got a ton of use on it, and I can tell you that when I got it out of the box, and now when I take it and put the box surface back on it, it's the same ball that I got out of the box. I haven't had to detox it, haven't had to clean it. Chamois is a big part of that. Chamois is a big part of keeping oil out of the ball, so that'll definitely help you with just your regular resin stuff. But it's the same ball that I put holes in 8 months ago, or however long it's been, December, January, something like that. So, the cover's the real deal. Now, some people have said, well, it lane shines pretty quick. Well, anything dull will lane shine. Most of the time, stuff will lane shine partly due to lane polishing and partly due to oil absorption. But anytime you have a surface that rough and you rub something else of a different surface against it, they're going to kind of equalize. Like, it's the same thing as taking an Abralon pad, a rougher surface. If bowling lanes were rougher, it would actually rough polish balls up. But because the lane is a shiny surface and you throw the ball over it again and again and again, the lane surface is actually polishing the cover of that ball. So whatever you rub against the surface of the ball, you could take a 2x4 and pick a section on a ball and just rub it and rub it and rub it and rub it, and it would actually shine up that section of the ball. So that's just a physics thing. It has nothing to do with oil absorption into the cover. But the cover stock is the real deal. So I was gonna make a Crux Prime 6-month video. I do have other balls to talk about, such as, I think it's been 2 months for the Astrophysics and the IQ Tour. Not throwing the Astrophysics as much because the Idol Pro came out, and I just don't need asymmetric stuff that often. The Astrophysics, I think James uses a bunch. Sweet, just became a Luke Road. That's what I did. Okay, Leo. So yeah. Leo, I just got your notification on my watch. So yeah, make sure you sign up for Discord. I do have quite a few articles on Patreon, and it's unfortunately not the greatest website in the world, so there's no tab to where you can go and look at coaching articles or this article or recap articles. You kind of just have to scroll back through the feed. Patreon is like Facebook. It's like a Facebook, so all my different posts or whatever, or articles, you just have to scroll back through everything, but there's almost 300 posts on there, some insider stuff, and signing up for Discord is the most important thing, because that's our private chat server, and then you can go into settings on Patreon and then link Discord to Patreon. Patreon's more like a kind of a gateway to Discord, and the couple bucks a month helps me with the production and a little bit of compensation for my time, and mostly just the thousands of dollars of equipment I have sitting here. I could add that up. That'd be fun. That's a $900 camera. That's a $1,000 laptop. This is a $300 laptop. This is a $100 microphone. This is a $200 desk. That's a lot of money. Anyway, it helps out a little bit with that. Plus, we've got a really, really great community on Discord. And instead of going to some public or free chat servers or whatever, you get trolls in there and toxic people or whatever. Just a couple bucks a month filters those type of people out. They're not going to sign up for something and spend some money and do whatever just to come troll somebody else's bowling chat server. So sign up for Discord, link Discord with Patreon so that you can get into our private channel, which is aptly named James Just Won a Contract. So probably had to change that back here so that everybody knows. We can change our. We have several. We have a general one. We have a gaming one. We have a couple other little channels on there. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining up. I think you'll really like it. There's a lot of great information, even when I'm not on there posting. Or we have a bunch of really knowledgeable people on there from all walks of life and the bowling community. So it's really fun. So thanks for signing up for that. Back to some of the. Let me see. I was talking about Halo Pearl, the astrophysics, and the IQ Tour Emerald. The IQ Tour Emerald took a little while for me to warm up to it, but I saw. Let me see. I think I saw somebody else throwing one at a tournament. Yeah, it was actually a tournament that we had at one of our home houses, and I bowled the early morning squad and stuck around to help out a little bit with the later squads. And one of the other bowlers that I knew was throwing his emerald, and it looked really good there. And I didn't score so well in the morning, and we saw double and singles the following day plus another team squad. And I thought, well, I'll bring it along just in case. And it didn't look half bad. It looked better than I thought it did. And then I thought there was another tournament a couple weeks later that was at a really high friction house, and I thought, well, you know what, this is on the lower end of my bag. I probably won't get down to this, but I ended up throwing it the whole day, and it looked really good, and so it's been steadily growing on me. And the astrophysics is like an asymmetric IQ Emerald. I just don't need asim stuff. I really like to roll the ball, so I don't need the extra help or the torque of that core on the back end. The supersonic is gone because it just that core, I love that core. I love how the core rolls, but I can't. Those are way too early. I just get, if it has that centripetal HD core in it, it's a love-hate relationship because I love watching the ball roll, but it doesn't score for me. It just actually sucks for me quite a bit. Let me see, what else do we have? Fever Pitch. It's in the box somewhere. Because I just don't throw urethane. I'm going to have to learn to throw urethane because there's a lot of tougher tournaments that I've been going to. Nationals for one, and the Springfield doubles, which I'm actually going to talk about that. That was another point that I forgot about. I need to talk about the Springfield 10K doubles. So we talked about some bowling balls. The Fever Pitch it was supposed to be like kind of an answer to the Purple Hammer. It's just not. The Purple Hammer is still just the undisputed king of urethane out there right now. It's just ridiculously good, and saying anything other than it's the king of urethane out there right now would be a lie. And I'm not going to lie. So now the Pitch Black is, as far as solid urethane goes, the Pitch Black is still the one that everybody kind of goes to. But if you're looking for more of a pearl urethane or a urethane with more shape, Purple Hammer is the one to get, but everybody kind of, you see the Pitch Black a lot from the Storm guys. You don't see so much the Black Hammer or anything else from the Hammer guys. If they're going to use urethane, it's going to be the Purple Hammer. So, trying to get on Discord and keep getting error. You have to link. You have to go onto Patreon into settings, and then you'll find an option to link to Discord. And our chat server is our chat is Storm Nation. So search for Storm Nation on Discord. Have to create a username and all that stuff, and then, like I said, you have to go into, once you've got your username and everything all set up on Discord, then you have to go into settings on Patreon. There's an option to link Discord to Patreon. You want to do that, and that'll let you into our chat server. But as far as I'm just going to have to learn to use urethane. I'm going to have to get a Pitch Black because we got to team at Nationals and didn't want to wreck the lanes with urethane, but everybody was throwing urethane and I didn't have urethane, and I think that I would actually like it on something tough. I wouldn't be able to use it, but there are definitely some applications where I'd have been able to use it in the Springfield 10K doubles that we went to, that myself and Beer Frame Anthony bowled in last weekend in Springfield, Missouri, where half the PBA Tour showed up to. Urethane would have been a big help because the shot was tough. The shot was tough. It started out tough and it got tougher. Normally, sport conditions, as you get some transition on them, they open up and they get easier. That didn't happen. And the Springfield 10K doubles was run by Kevin Williams and Chris Taylor from Springfield. Kevin Williams is, of course, not fun, Storm Nation, all one word. So let me type it in the chat. Search for that. No space. Yeah, Storm Nation. Bang bang. Oh, Pikachu welcomed him in there. Okay. So it looks like you're signed up. My wife tagged you in Discord, so you should be able to get the notification and find it from there. Hopefully. And Justin, there is a general channel. So if you don't want to sign up for the Patreon for the monthly thing or whatever. Worn any comfy socks lately, Casey Mattingly? Yes, actually, I spent 10 minutes earlier, probably about a half an hour ago, talking about Big Force socks, giving my review on here. So yes, I've worn comfy socks. I got them right here. So yes, I was actually talking about them. So yep, awesome possum. So I am going to have to learn to use urethane because it would have been really helpful against half of the PBA Tour out there. Let me actually pull up Patreon because I wrote an article about it, and there's a couple things that I wrote that I really wanted to say about this tournament and about the professional bowlers. That's really, really noteworthy. The bowlers that were out there, let's see, we had Nick Pate, who is who's on Team USA. He actually just won something. Mitch Hupe, who's on Team Canada. Francois Lavoie was there. Chris Prather was there. Jacob Buttriff was there. AJ Chapman was there. Anthony Simonson was there. AJ Rice was there. Kevin Williams, of course, was there. Brad and Kyle from Brad Miller and Kyle Sherman were there. Wesley Lowe was there. Let me see here if there's any other. Michael Holloman was there. Michael Tang was there. Former pro Chris Johnson was there, who's married to Stephanie Johnson from the PWBA Tour. Anthony and Sean Lavery Spar. Cameron Doyle was there. I think and then there's a bunch of local guys that were there. Mark Henninger, Dylan Burns, who is the all-time period 9-game record holder. It was something stupid like 271 a game or something for 9 games. Devin Bidwell was there, and he's a name like Mitch Hupe. If you haven't heard of him yet, you're going to hear about him because he's ridiculous. Kevin Tatrow was there. A lot of the Wichita State alums were there. So, I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of pro bowlers, like legitimate on TV Titleists. Just half the PBA Tour was there. So, I mean, and then bowling with them were a bunch of other huge names. So it was more of just an experience thing for me. But something that people don't realize about the pros, and you have to kind of experience it, because when I was I went to the U.S. Open, which was in Wichita this last year in October, I think, late October, early November. And it's one thing to appreciate watching them bowl and seeing all the adjustments they make. When I bowled the PTQ, I was paired with Matt Ogle, who ended up leading it. The quickness of the adjustments and the size of the adjustments and how much they buy into those adjustments is just knowledge and experience that's just so far beyond the pale. But bowling with them is a little is a different story, because then you're actually experiencing what they're experiencing, and the quality of shots they have to make. And it's not that they don't, there's plenty of pros leave plenty of opens all the time, but it's just they're sandwiched in between strings of strikes. Or you can look up and be watching. I had Jacob Buttriff bowling to one side of me, and whoever else bowling to the other side, and you look up there and see him leave an open and say, okay, well, it's stiff competition. Going in bowling against the PBA Tour, we were going to have to bring it. And when you see guys like that open, it's a little sigh of relief. And then you look up there at the end of the game, and on one of the tougher patterns I've ever bowled on, their rough game is like 210 or something. When you get on an easy pair and you're shooting 230, they're going to shoot 250 or 260. And when you get on a rough pair that's going to leave you at 180 or something, they're shooting 210. And if they do shoot 190, it's right after they shot 250, and then they put up 260 the game after that and just completely erase it. So I did write a couple articles about my experience and kind of the recap on Patreon, but I want to read you some of it. Wesley Lowe is one of the cooler guys on the planet. When I went up to talk to him after the day of qualifying, because they had qualifying and then they had the cut and then they had another round of qualifying and then the bracket finals. When I went to talk to him after the qualifying day, he was sitting on a table swinging his legs back and forth, just sipping on his drink, just kind of hanging out. He's just bright and energetic, and loves to talk to everybody. I don't think he knows that being famous is a thing, because he sure doesn't act like it. He's just super happy to be Wesley Lowe and to be able to do what he does for a living, and he's just happy to be there. And he's just one of the guys. He's just one of everybody else. He's really cool. I actually got to meet Kyle. I know Brad from Kansas City, kind of. It's more just the YouTube connection that I know him from, but I do see him occasionally at tournaments. I just don't know him that well. Still don't think he's seen the Big Lebowski, though, so that's a problem. I'm going to talk to him about that. But I did get several minutes of Brad and Kyle on YouTube. I'm trying to help them out a little bit, trying to help them out and really get their channel out there and get them some exposure. I think I'm going to help. But okay, so I'm going to read you some of this that I wrote down, because this is I think really telling. Once I got done writing it, I was actually really liked what I wrote down. But okay, so Sunday morning at the Advancers 5-game qualifying round, the skill was on full display. There was a few big names that didn't make day 2. I'm not going to call anybody out, but there's a lot of big talent out there that that make more money at day jobs and then annihilating house shot tournaments than beating their heads against the best in the world for peanuts. And several of them advanced as well. So basically what that means is there's a lot of guys that could be competing on the PBA Tour, but because there's not a whole lot of money out there and the competition's super stiff, they actually make better livings at just working their day job and then go and killing weekend tournaments, being kind of the weekend warrior thing. At the end of the day, Francois Lavoie and AJ Chapman won the tournament. And my takeaway is that the pros are freakishly good. They're just otherworldly, superhuman good. And you'll see in my blog that I have some of the crazy things that some of them do. Notably, Ryan Burks, one of my buddies from the area, who is actually going out on tour starting this season. He's got a really unique in front of the ball return game. He actually gets just like 3 or 4 foot from the line, and then he gets in front of when he has to get in front of the ball return. And I'm going to have several shots of him in my blog. But he gets up there and he gets set. And then he actually takes his first 2 steps backwards. He takes 2 steps backwards and then like 3 steps forward or something. So he still has a 5-step approach even when he's like 3 or 4 foot from the foul line. And he's good at it, of course. And they all have a seemingly bottomless bag of tricks that they pull out consistently to keep the pins falling. Like I said, you find an easy pair and shoot 230, they're shooting 250 or 260. Talked about them opening quite a bit, but they make the adjustments fast and they just erase whatever they did. I think Buttriff started off one game. He had 50 in the 4th frame and ended up shooting 220 or something. and they can just turn it on or adjust to the pair that they're on in a couple frames, and then just get the pins down. So, so the adjustments they make most of the time are huge and ridiculously quick, and they have so much experience that they know exactly what's going to happen when they move, when they make a ball change, and they can buy right into it initially. It's not like they go back in the bag and they kind of think, well, I'm not exactly sure what this is going to do. I guess I'll just throw it and adjust off of that. They know exactly what's going to happen. The combination of their total package of skill sets are overwhelming and nearly demoralizing. I came away from this tournament saying I needed to quit bowling stuff like this because I'll never be close to that level, even if I quit my day job and focused on nothing but bowling. And that pains me a little bit to say because I'm really, really good up here. I'm not so good down here, and I'm not sure that it would ever work out as well as it does for some of these guys, especially these freaks like Crux Prime that are just disgusting. Now, the idea that house shot heroes that are the armchair quarterbacks can watch TV and say, well, I average 230 league, I can compete out there, is just absolute complete insanity. Yeah, you can go to league and you can average 230 playing nothing but your A game on a shot that's completely wide open. But it's when these guys are playing their F and G games, making it look like somebody else's A game, and are disappointed shooting 205 on the scoring pace on that pair, or that particular game is 20 pins lower. That's when it really hits you. I had to get down to my C game towards the end of the blocks just to keep it around 190, and there was a certain point I got to where I didn't have anything left to give. I ran out of my skill set. So the shot demanded more, and the pros had plenty more game left when I was completely done and out of options. I went into the tournament feeling pretty good because I'd been executing really well, but executing your A game well on a house shot just doesn't count at all. Most people's A games include one speed, one angle of rotation, one tilt, one rev rate from one arrow, and changing any of that automatically puts you into B or C game territory. The pros' A games, on the other hand, include a variety of all of those before they begin to feel uncomfortable and have to start making major changes, at which point they're still only down to their B plus game. And this is the big point that I really wanted to make. Saying that somebody's saying, well, your A game is, again, one speed, one rev rate, from third arrow, from whatever else, and that's your A game. And if you have to play a little bit straighter, that's your B game, or get deeper, that's your B game, or maybe you have to change your tilt a little bit, or your speed, or your angle of rotation, that puts you down into your B or C game. For example, Chris Prather's A game extends from quietly rolling the ball up the back of it at 19 miles an hour from second arrow to lofting it to the arrows all the way around it from 5th to 6th arrow at 16 miles an hour. Anthony Simonson doesn't even get down to his B game until he's literally throwing the ball backwards on the left side of the lane, and even then his B game is better than most of the other pros' A- games. Now, Buttroff has the unique ability to play every pattern the same way in virtually the same zone, so he's always using his A game. It's just a matter of whether or not it matches up, and he can still change a bunch of things, but it's just his A game works so well with that purple hammer on virtually everything that there's no reason for him to screw with it a bunch. Bowling with them is even a bit different from just watching, because even when I can watch and see what the lanes are doing, see what adjustments are required, and see the pros adjust and execute, you don't get the same realization watching as you get when you're trying to do all the same stuff yourself. So even though you can see it, trying to actually get it done yourself is a different story. Even if you're reading ball reaction right, making the right adjustments, and reading the transition correctly, trying to then execute all these adjustments and staying on top of the transition vaults it into different territory, because you then have to do some things wildly different consistently with a high level of accuracy across the board in the big. Okay. Yeah. Tongue's getting a little dry here. So the biggest challenge is adjusting on the fly and getting your body to perform against the grain of recent muscle memory. You have to dive into old muscle memory from practice quickly and completely erase what you were literally just doing a frame ago. And while your mind is consumed with lane play and ball motion and strategy and transition, you have to do your thinking off the approach and then stop thinking completely when you go in motion. Decide what you're going to do before you get up there, and then set the parameters before you put your hand in the ball, and then let the program run, basically. the final piece to the puzzle is the ability to consider all shots singular. You can't throw a bad shot and then allow yourself to get up the next frame and just try not to throw a bad shot again. It has to be completely erased, and then you have to refocus on running the correct program again. Otherwise, you seesaw yourself into a bad game that gets in your head and you're done. I would encourage everyone to do something like this to gain new respect for the pros, but don't get too down on yourself. It's their job. They do it consistently. They do it constantly. They should be good at it. How good they are is absolutely ridiculous, but you know there is still a skill to being a good weekend warrior as well. So then there's some other special stuff. If you wanted to sign up for Patreon to read it yourself, there's some other stuff. But that's the big takeaway, is that watching, like I said, Chris Prather's A game, which is the majority of the pros, their A game extends from just doing from second arrow to the point they have to start lofting the ball. And they're just as comfortable doing one as the other. When the majority of the rest of us would be down to our C games by the time they're just down to their A games from their A+ game. So, and it may not seem like a whole lot. It might seem like, man, if I just got this break or carried this 10-pin or whatever, I shot 210 and they shot 230. Or, you know, I shot a great game, I shot 230, 240, and it's like, well, you know, obviously somebody's going to have a better game than I am, so you can use all the kind of excuses that you want to use, but at the end of the day, when you're on something that tough, and the majority of them made it just look laughably easy, and they were even still frustrated at averaging 220, 230 on something that I averaged 190 or 195 on. It's absolute insanity. It's just ridiculous. All right, I need to go back to. All right. Mr. Bill Walker, Antler Fund. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, back to the question here. Will you be doing any 2-month reviews on the idea is always to do 2-month reviews. That's the idea. Hopefully they'll get done. Really need to learn a lot. I miss so much info coaching since youth league, so yep, cool. Is there any chance of getting a standard urethane in the hustle line? That would actually be a really good idea, believe it or not. Probably not, just because I think it's an expense thing with urethane, which is why they end up in kind of the middle lines. So if you go buy a urethane hammer, it's not necessarily the cheapest. The purple hammer isn't the cheapest thing in the world. The pitch black isn't the cheapest thing in the world. Hot Cell was too expensive. Is too expensive. I think it's still around. Mr. Bill Walker, thank you, sir. Antler Fund, the Panda Antler Fund. Yeah, you hear that, Panda? Bill's buying you some antlers. I asked him. Baby, you coming? Come on, Chubby. Come on, ask him, Piggy. Okay, never mind. Oh, Team Fish Clinic. Yeah, Brad and Kyle's a good channel. I really hope I can help them out. Get them up to like 40,000 subscribers. So just that paltry little 38 or whatever. Team Fish Clinic. Angel they had a Team Fish Clinic, which Kyle Troop was originally going to be at, but he ended up at like the Go Bowling 400 or something. There was a NASCAR race that he ended up at instead. Took a little bit of precedence over this. But Team Fish Clinic was Chris Prather, Anthony Simonson, Kevin Williams, and AJ Chapman, who was filling in for Kyle Troop. But it was a great time. I sat there and watched it, and they had a couple of the guys working with people out on the lanes, and then they had AJ was talking to him about ball dynamics and stuff, and then Chris Prather was talking to him about mental game stuff. And it was a really good time. They were all really friendly, and Kevin Williams makes it up here every once in a while to bowl some stuff here locally. So I see him on occasion, like once every couple months or something like that. So yeah, Prather's a beast, and that's the thing is I probably should have talked to him, but I'm incredibly starstruck. I am crazy, incredibly starstruck, and I'm not one to just kind of start walking up to somebody and talking to them if I don't have something to say to them. Unless I have like a question that I really wanted to ask. It was like, okay, so on this show, this happened, and you did this. or just actually have some kind of conversation to talk to him about. I just don't want to, hey, I'm a really big fan and whatever, can I get a selfie with you and blah, blah, and walk away. And so I just don't feel any need to bug him unless I actually have something I want to talk to him about. But, Kelsey Muther bowled at Wichita State. She's from Topeka. They live in Wichita now. Kelsey Helmick now. But she was actually on Junior Team USA, and she won a World Youth Championships gold medal or something in Thailand or the Philippines or something like that with Danielle McEwen, and I can't remember who else, but there were another couple names that I'd know if somebody told them to me. But her husband was also bowled for Wichita State. She knows all these people just from bowling on the team with them. So she knows Chris, and she knows Mitch Houpe, and she knows Devin Bidwell, and she knows Francois. She actually dated Francois for a little while. And so her parents became kind of pseudo parents to the, not pseudo, might be the wrong word, but her parents got to know everybody really well. Her mom's really friendly in general. Her dad, he's all right. But, so they know him really well, and so anytime Kelsey's mom, Nancy, will say, hey, say hi to so-and-so for me, I'm like, well, that's Francois, or that's Chris Prather, or whatever, and she's like, yeah, it's only Chris, or it's only Frankie. It's like, yeah, but you don't understand. I turned into a junior high boy trying to talk to his crush when I got to meet Birdie Crawley. That was rough. And any of the rest of these, I'm just going to turn into a blabbering mess of idiot. So, all right, I got a question. When you notice the transitions coming, what's the first adjustments you make? Axis slow the miles per hour, move left or right? That's a tricky question because the answer could be yes to all of those. Most of the time, the transition I get is the ball starts overhooking, and so I just instantly move left most of the time because I am more comfortable getting left and making any other physical adjustments with my hand. As long as I can get the ball down the lane, I can slow the ball down, I can rev it up more, I can get around it more to get it to finish the way I want on the back end. But I need to get, my big thing is getting the ball down the lane. I can do whatever else I need to do to make it hook and finish and shape right. Now moving left is my first inclination. Now if you have higher ball speed or a lower rev rate, most of the time what's going to happen for you is you're going to lose a little bit of your back end reaction. So you actually might want to slow the ball down first or move a little bit right first. It's a little bit different for different games, and so it's kind of hard to say, but my first adjustment is to move left. And if I need to slow the ball down or hook it more or whatever else to make it, go into the pins right, I can definitely do that. So, Idle Pro versus P2, differences in reactions. Yes, definite differences in reaction. The Idle Pro, I think, is a little bit rounder than the P2, which we're talking about the Phase 2 for those who may not get the shorthand. Idle Pro's boomier on the back end. The Phase 2 hooks a little bit more. They're about the same as far as continuation. You're welcome. They're about the same in continuation. They both roll through the pins really nicely. So the differences are kind of subtle, but I think you'll notice that the Idle Pro is quicker on friction. It's not quite as much traction in the oil, but it's quicker on friction. So those two pair together really nicely if you want more of a shape difference than a hook potential difference. So, okay, what else did I forget? I think I covered all the stuff that I really wanted to cover. Like I said, I had the thing written down on the other in the description of the other stream that I started, sadly, before I tried the experiment with the HDMI switch that didn't work out at all. It just kind of freaked my program out, so we're definitely not doing that again. And apparently there's this mirroring screens thing that I've got to learn how to do. Ah, the new channel, yes. Yes, we forgot about the new channel. I think this is what I was saying like an hour and a half ago when I said you needed to wait for, like 2 hours ago when I said you needed to wait for an hour and a half. I am, thank you Ryan by the way, I am launching a new channel. I'll answer this question. What's your biggest goal for this upcoming league or tournaments? Let me see. I have 2 different leagues. One is a draft league. I would like to be not in the bottom 5 this year. I'm a team captain. I draft my own team, and apparently I really suck at drafting teams because we always suck. So draft a team that does not suck this year is goal number 1. Goal number 2 is I would actually like to average 240 in my other league this year. I averaged 240 most of my Friday night league last year, and it was just the last couple weeks where I just couldn't keep it above 240. I ended up at 238.9. I'd like to average 240 just so I can say I did it for whatever reason. But averaging that number, averaging 220 is not terribly hard. Averaging 230 is, of course, just a little bit harder. 240 is a different story because at that point, you know, the difference between 220 and 230 is literally just stringing more strikes together. Because you can shoot 220 every game with, you know, some spares spread out more. 230 is just getting those, you know, keeping the spares being the outliers and keeping your strike strings, you know, getting bigger strike strings. 240 is striking more often. The difference between 230 and 240 is not necessarily the stringing strikes thing. You have to strike more often, period. You can't just kind of clump your strikes together better and still have 2, 3, 4 9 spares a game. You have to eliminate the spares, basically. You have to strike 9 or 10 times a game. That's just what has to happen. So I would like to average 240. In tournaments, I just like to keep doing what I'm doing because I'm making quite a bit of money at tournaments. Obviously, I'd like to win something one of these days because that's not something I do. Going to bigger tournaments is really, multi-weekend tournaments is really hard to win something because you have to have just an absolute freak show of a day to get it done. And even though I've been bowling really well a lot of these, I haven't quite bowled good enough to win. I've gotten really close, but getting a winner's payday one of these days would be awesome. Do you throw as hard as you can? I do. Is it better to throw 80%? It's whatever you're most comfortable with. I'm comfortable slow rolling a little bit more because my shoulder problems, I can't really throw it as hard. I can either throw it hard or I can get some reps on it. I can't do both. I would like to do both, but yes, thank you. Good luck to you this year too. Hopefully, everybody's got to have some goals, even if it's as douchey as Thule or whatever as, you know, wanting to average 240 because I only averaged 238.9 this year. It's just a thing. If you're not trying to get better, then that's more douchey or Thule than not trying to get better. So. Yes, actually, I stopped to answer a few questions. So the new channel, if anybody remembers the beer frame, man, the beer frames that I used to do, I used to have a series called Beer Frame, and me and my buddy Anthony would sit down and we'd have some craft beers or we'd have some different whiskey or something, and we would talk about. We'd pick something and talk about it. So if you want to go back and look at some of the beer frames, we did one on working in a pro shop. We did one about being on staff because people are always asking about being on staff. And so we give you kind of behind the scenes things and talk a little bit about that. We had one about two-handed bowling. We did a couple beer frame lives. I actually did one from my brother's brewery. He's got a brewery here in town that we were live at. We had a couple different people on, and my brother came and sat down and talked about some of the different beers and some of the different processes that go into making them. And so that was a good time. The one thing is that Storm basically sponsors my channel, and they do so many things with the youth. They have the Storm Youth Championships, and I used to have some, like I had a PBR sign back up here and some old Budweiser like bar signs. back up here. But being that they do so much stuff for the youth, obviously, you know, alcohol drinking, whatever else, is nothing that you really want to promote to the youth. And so since they sponsor my channel, we thought it would be a better idea to kind of eliminate the alcohol references or affiliations with the channel. So we stopped doing the beer frames, but I'm going to launch a new channel that is going to kind of bring some of that back. There is a channel called Beer Frame, so we're not going to call the channel Beer Frame. But the thing I liked about the beer frames, it was kind of like, yeah, it is, and that's, Justin, that's why I didn't really have a problem with it when it was brought up to me about maybe removing that stuff. That was actually fine with me. Because like I said, since they do sponsor the channel, it's nothing we want to promote to youth, and I definitely want youth watching this, and they're the future of the sport, and so we can just talk bowling, we can show off bowling balls, we can do coaching, we can just keep it on the level. Keep it on the level on this channel. But there was something that was really fun about Beer Frame, where it was just kind of sitting down. There's a lot of people that are into craft beer and different whiskeys, not to get, you know, smashed or hammered or anything like that, but to just sit down and enjoy having a couple of, especially with craft beer, with all the different flavors and all that kind of stuff. There's kind of an endless rabbit hole to jump down in. I really like jumping down in rabbit holes tonight for some reason. But there was something that was really fun about that, and the plan was I'd get done with the beer frame, and I'd say, okay, well, for the next beer frame, we're going to be drinking this beer that so-and-so makes, and it's this type of a beer and whatever else, and then give it a couple weeks so that you can go find, those of you who are over 21, can go find the beer yourself and can actually drink it with us while we're talking about it, and then just talk some bowling. Just have a few drinks, talk some bowling, have some fun. There was something that was really, really cool about that. So it's going to be its own channel, but it's going to be a little bit of a twist on that. We're going to call it, I'm going to call it Over the Line, which is a reference to Big Lebowski and Walter Sobchak. Over the line! And I'm going to have some Big Lebowski sound bites and stuff. Hopefully, if it doesn't prevent the channel from being monetized, we might have to change some stuff of that. But you know, there's so many great one-liners from Big Lebowski that I can have a soundboard and can hit some stuff. Basically, we're going to run it something like every one of them is going to be live. We're not going to have any taped episodes or anything. It's going to be kind of like a Pardon the Interruption thing, or like Undisputed with Skip and Shannon or something like that, where it's going to be me and somebody else, and we're going to have some drinks. We're going to try some different craft beers, and of course I'm going to have the White Russian on there quite frequently in tribute to the dude. But we're going to have, instead of having like the staff affiliations and everything like that, we're going to have more of like just a bowling show. It's going to be a bowling show just like Pardon the Interruption, or like I said, Undisputed with good hosts instead of those guys. But we're going to encourage people to get on the chat and say, we want to talk about we want to get a little bit deeper on some stuff, or maybe talk about some controversial stuff, or maybe somebody gets on and says, okay, well, why hasn't so-and-so won a title, or why hasn't so-and-so won this many titles, or what do you think about this thing, or what do you think about that thing? And we're just going to have some drinks and we're going to break it down and have a good time. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And when I do get that channel up and running, which is probably going to be longer than I want it to be, but once we do get that channel up and running, then I'll obviously share it on this channel and encourage everybody that's over 21 again to go over and watch it. But it really should be a good time. So Beer Frame is kind of coming back. For those of you that remember Beer Frame and enjoy Beer Frame, it's kind of coming back. Getting to the question here, would you mind clarifying whether we can still smack the rosin bags on finger holes or thumb holes after the new USB-C rule that took effect? No cleaning, as long as you don't leave the stuff on the surface of your bowling ball. Like if you smack your rosin bag on there and then wipe it off with your towel so it's only in the thumb hole, then you're not going to have any problem with it. If you just smack the thing, and if you just smack it on the ball and then you go, it's going to be up to somebody to narc you out, basically. So yeah. But I'm hoping to talk my buddy Michael McBride into doing it. I'm probably going to have some other people on there. We've had a guy named Chris Leftwich on the show before. My beer frame buddy Anthony lives down in Wichita now, which is a couple hours away, and so I'll probably do some with him. We'll probably do some from breweries. So there's a couple in Wichita, and my brother, my brother says he can get us in anywhere, so we can go sit down at breweries, at different breweries. That'll be a lot of fun. So we can go sit down at different ones and have the people talk about their different beers and the process that goes into them. And then we can talk some crazy bowling stuff, and we can get, as crazy with it as we want to, because that channel's not going to be affiliated. There's not going to be any sponsorship. There's not going to be any. There might be some beer sponsorship, but there's not going to be any bowling sponsorship, so that we can avoid any conflict of interest and not have to preface things with saying, well, these may not necessarily, the opinions herein may not necessarily represent the opinions of, or beliefs or something, or values of whatever's going on. So I think it's probably about time to wrap this thing up. If anybody has any final questions you would like to ask, probably go on ahead and do that, and we'll get this wrapped up. I've got another busy day tomorrow. We have a board meeting, and then we have a lane-trification kind of get-together for everybody that help with that. And on Sunday, we have our big annual bowlers banquet, and I'm going to be on stage probably 4 or 5 times. I got a buddy of mine that's being inducted into our local, a couple buddies of mine, but the one that I'm giving the induction speech for, that's getting inducted into our City Hall of Fame, so that's going to be fun. We actually have it at a pretty nice casino that's here. They have a big banquet room that we rent out. It's all kinds of awesome. So we have that, and I normally talk about what the youth did for the year, and then I'm going to be doing this induction speech, and there's another couple things I'm going to be talking about. So, any videos on the newer hustles that came out in June? Probably not, because I'm not really interested in any of them. For the videos, Storm sends me Thunderline releases and up, so they don't automatically send me matchups or tropicals or anything like that. And then I get HP2 or HP3 and HP4 line balls, so I actually had to order that. I had to wait and order the MVP myself. So I will probably do I'll do HP2 line stuff, because that's just too big of a line not to do stuff about. And it's actually been more popular than the Idol Pro and Halo Vision videos. But if they don't automatically send the ball to me for the review, it does cost me to get it, and then of course I have to put all the time and everything else into making the video. So if it's not something that I'm interested in personally throwing myself, which isn't going to be a whole lot of the lower end stuff, I'm probably not going to order it or do a video for it, because it would just be at my own expense ordering the ball and then making the video for it and then never throwing the ball because I have no use for it. So yes, so probably not on the newer hustles. I know if you go check out Kenan McFalls, Josh Shoemaker, Hammer Bowling's another good one. He's got all the manufacturers. Josh Shoemaker and Kenan are Storm staffers, and then Nick Brown is a Storm staffer. I think those guys all have videos for those hustles if you want to go check those out. I know it won't be a video from me, but I would definitely say to go check those guys out. Now let's see. You and Angel are out on a date at the movies, which is, Angel doesn't watch movies. So anyhow, you keep hearing someone talking behind you, and when you look back, you see 2 Hustle Says chatting. What do you say to them to get them to stop talking? The Hustle Say was one of the worst balls ever thrown, marginally better than the Hustle Pro. What do you say to them to get them to stop talking? All I'll have to say is that I intentionally set the Hustle Pro up to crack, and then I watched it die slowly over the next couple of weeks. And if they don't shut up, I'm going to do the same thing to them. that was one of the more satisfying things I've ever done. Is I hated the Hustle Pro. The Hustle Pro was awful, and I was so mad at it because it rolled. It actually did roll halfway decent. I thought I was really gonna like it, and then it just didn't. And I just wanted to watch it die. And so I intentionally set it up to crack, and then a crack started. And every day I'd go into the pro shop, I'd take a grease pencil, and I'd kind of make a mark at the end of the crack, and then the next day I'd come in, it was like an inch further down, and I'd put a line on that. It was just one of the more satisfying weeks I've ever had. So far for 2019, what's your favorite Storm Roto ball release? I know it just came out, but the Idol Pro is legitimately top of the list. Like I said, it's a top 3 Roto ball all time. And it's one of those that, well, you've only thrown it for like a month or something. When you know, you know. And everybody that I've heard from that's thrown the ball thinks the same thing about it. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Probably the next one would be the Halo Pearl, because that ball made me a bunch of money. So probably with some time on it, the Halo Pearl. Initial opinions on the Idol Pro are really good, and I think that's probably going to be the Storm and Roto Ball of the Year. ProMotion is really, really good, but I think that the Idol Pro is just going to have more usability for the majority of people because the Idol Pro is better on house shots than the ProMotion is. ProMotion is ridiculous on everything else, but the Idol Pro is legitimate next level. Expected next releases, or what would you like to see Storm Roto do next? Man, I don't even know, because we got everything. I was expecting an Idol Hybrid. We really got everything that I was expecting. I was expecting an Idol Hybrid, which we got. It's just called the MVP. I was not expecting the Idol Pro, which that's epic. I was expecting a hybrid Halo, but I was expecting it to be shiny. It's not shiny. I wouldn't be able to throw it if it was shiny. Maybe a solid Sonic or a solid Physics. They did make a solid Physics. It's going to be overseas, but it's the NRG cover stock. The NRG solid, Nano solid, which is going to make it a really good ball. I don't know that I would expect a solid Intense. I don't know why those weren't really that popular, especially the Intense Fire, because it had a lot of shelf appeal, and it was I thought the Intense was a good ball too. I really, really like that core, but I doubt we'll see another Intense. I think the next thing we'll probably see is a solid Physics from the Storm side of things. I would bet on more IQ. Now that they have the IQ Emerald back out, there's a lot of people that love the Fusion. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they remarketed or rebranded kind of the IQ Tour Fusion as something different. That'd probably be a smart move. A solid Sonic could probably be something coming. You've got to have a sanded solid in the Thunder line here. So that's going to be one of the next releases coming out. Is going to be a sanded solid Thunder line release. Has to be. More with a rocket core or something, because there's a really big difference between the stuff in the Master line and the stuff in the Thunder line. So they're going to need a sanded solid something to kind of bridge that gap. So something like a sanded solid rocket, like another rocket ship or something like that, is probably what I'm thinking for that line. Roto, I have absolutely no idea. They're probably done with the Halo line. Probably shouldn't be, because that core is really good. The Idol line, they should make those like Hammer makes Black Widows. They should just never stop making stuff with that core in, because the Idol line is one of the best, if not the best, in bowling right now. Aspen, what are you doing? What are you doing? I know, you're over there chewing on something. I see you. The Idol, you just have to keep making those. So I don't even care. They just need to. Got here late. Yeah. It'll archive. We've been going on for about 2.5 hours now, so it'll archive. It might take a little while. It might not be available until tomorrow, but yeah, it'll actually archive as a video. So yep. So what I would like to see them do next, what I would like to see them do next is to put out. I don't know with the Halo. I really like that. I don't know what they do for a cover. I really don't, because I really like that E-Trax cover. I really like that. Now E-Trax 19 Pearl. That would be. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him make another Halo with that. I'd like to see him make an actual E-Trax hybrid. An E-Trax 19 hybrid idle. Definitely like to see that. Probably do that. Man, if they put the idle Pro cover on the MVP core, that would be heckin' awesome. I wouldn't be able to throw a solid intense, or not a solid intense, a solid physics, but I think that that's going to come. I think that's going to happen. I would like to see the IQ Tour Fusion kind of re-released. That'd be fun. But I honestly have zero clue what Roto's going to do. Absolutely no clue. I've got kind of a clue what Storm's going to do, because they're a little bit more predictable, but it's the bigger company, and so they kind of need to be predictable. They need to be consistent, so to speak. Roto is, on the other hand, can kind of just do the balls to the wall thing and kind of just go for it. And if it doesn't work, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Like the winners, they didn't really work, but I like the fact that he still went for it. He still went for it. So 320 RPM, 15 tilt. What's your speed? What's your speed? Vision or Pro Motion? With the RPMs, unless your speed is like under 16 or under, I'd go Vision. If you've got more of a higher speed, lower rev gain, definitely go Vision. If you're slower on the speed, because like my wife's probably in the 270 to 300 RPM range, and her Pro Motion looks really good, but she's got slower speed too, so it's got time to do what it's going to do on the back end. If her speed was any faster, it probably wouldn't look as good. But if you think the Pro Motion will be a ball that will stay on the line for a while, it's got to. I mean, it's legitimately that good. I thought it was going to replace something. It's actually kind of the next evolution of the IQ Tour, if I had to really compare it to anything. It's got just a little slightly different shape, but the longevity of the ball is going to be amazing due to the spec cover, and it's one of those Phase 2 IQ Tour type balls that's just going to be a monster on tougher stuff. It's really, really good. It better stay around for a while. Really started to enjoy J.R. Raymond's channel. More of his instructional type videos. Do you think you might bring any of that content? That's all the stuff that I'd really, really like to do, but don't really have the time to do. Because I have a regular day job. I work Monday through Thursday, but they're 10-hour days, and I work out of town all the time. So Monday through Thursday is basically off limits. There's nothing I can do with those days. Friday is getting back and a little bit of catching up, and then Saturday, Sunday usually filled with stuff. So I just don't have the time to get to some of these projects. Like I said, like at the beginning of the video, I had videos I wanted to make in May, but then we had ball stuff, and then I had tournaments, and there's a lot of the time where I'll get ready for tournaments on a Friday, or I need to go practice on a Friday, or I need to do laundry or clean the house up or something. But most of the time, Friday is kind of my catch-up day, and then we always have something going on Saturday and Sunday. And when I do get some time, making videos is not really the way that I want to spend my time. Ball review weekends are absolutely wretched, absolutely beyond wretched. And I sit there and I whine and complain about it through the whole time. Most of the time, I get the bowling balls on Thursday. And so I'll go drill balls on Thursday, I'll get some video at the one house on Thursday, then Friday morning I'll go out and get more video. So it's normally afternoon by the time I get home, I get the video downloaded, I get started on intro videos, and then if it's 2 or 3 balls, it takes, with editing and everything, just editing. For everything, it takes about 10 to 12 hours of video with drilling, shooting, editing, whatever else. And then by the time I finally get them done and up on Sunday, and then, or maybe even Saturday, depending on if there's only a couple balls, and then have a live stream. And then Sunday is most of the time spent just catching up on YouTube questions and Facebook messages and Facebook, and it just never stops. And I've got almost 7,500 subscribers. on the channel now, and there's only one of me. So even when I'm not making videos, I have a lot of questions to answer either from YouTube or, like I said, the social media stuff. And I am kind of on Twitter and kind of on Instagram and kind of on a bunch of stuff. And being that I also have a day job, it's too much. It's really too much. But it's fun. But the sad thing is that I would like to do more instructional type videos. That's kind of what I got into this in the first place. I didn't get into this to make bowling ball commercials, to basically just to market and sell product or whatever. I wanted to do more of the instructional type videos, and that's why I came up with the idea, for the off season stuff. And the other off season video after building a good accessory thing, or a good accessory bag, taking all the stuff with you, we're going to talk a little bit about coaching and getting some coaching during the summer, because most of the time you either don't have the time in the winter, or you don't want to spend the money on that, or you haven't spent the money on it before. So why is this? Oh, I thought that was actually on the TV. It's just on the little camera window there. Anyhow, so yeah, and I actually did do quite a few. If you go back and look a year or two ago, I did do some more instructional type videos and stuff. And actually, most of my instructional / coaching stuff, I do have a lot of articles that I put on Patreon. Putting in all the work for that for just the YouTube channel is one thing, but I do put quite a bit more stuff on Patreon where I write articles and I share some different videos and stuff. And there's actually quite a few videos out there that people have already made. Like Brad and Kyle have a bunch of really good stuff, and so I just kind of shamelessly share their stuff and instead of making a video of my own, because they have those extra experiences or the bigger skill or some perspectives from being out on the pro tour that I don't have. And so a lot of the times their videos are better than what I would be able to produce. So if you want to look for instructional stuff, sadly I don't think a lot of that's going to be coming from me, but again, I didn't, that's kind of how I got into this in the first place, was being in a pro shop, and people would come in and say, well, I'm interested in this ball, but every time I go watch a video, it's just a bunch of strikes set to music from somebody throwing the ball, from fourth arrow with 500 RPMs, and everything looks the same. They never show any shots that miss. Everything always strikes, and it's just rock music and whatever else. And so I kind of got into it because I wanted to explain the differences in the bowling balls and kind of show people, do something different from what was already out there, and not just just be the typical staffer crap with this is great, is a must-have, and it's like, okay, well, everything's a must-have, everything's the greatest ball that's ever been made. I really don't think so. And so I kind of set out to be a little bit different. And now I've kind of gotten stuck in that it takes so much time just to do the advertising and the marketing and showing stuff off, which I know is still kind of important to do the ball reviews, but I wanted to do something more than that. I just don't, between that and the regular day job and then all the tournaments, of course, that I bowl now, I just don't have the time. So fortunately or unfortunately, I try to post stuff on Patreon as often as possible, and coaching's a little bit more, coaching and articles and kind of that stuff's a little bit more premium content, I guess you'd say. And so there are too many people who give too much stuff away for free, so I kind of like to reserve the higher level content for my Patreon thing. I think that's fair, but on the YouTube channel, it's kind of more the Storm thing. So take that as you will. And do you think the ink will be revised or have a remake of the ball? It's just going to be there for a while. They would be stupid to discontinue the ink. Do not discontinue the ink. No, no, no. Looking to replace my Matchup Black Pearl as part of my tournament arsenal recommendations. Matchup Black Pearl is actually really good. That's one of those kind of quiet ones that flew under the radar that was a lot better than people expected it to be. For replacing that, if you want a similar type motion, the new black and gray Hustle, whichever one that is. It's not the 3TP, because that's the purplish one and whatever. I don't know what that other. It's not the AU, because the AU is the gold one. Whatever the other one is, the BP or the BPR or the BSP or the something like that. that hustle would actually be really good to replace the black pearl with. Here's a question. Think of the 6 balls you normally bring around and you can't use those. What 6 ball? Oh, second string arsenal. Okay, that's a good one. So the 6 balls I would that I'm gonna take around the league are the Pro Motion, the Idle Pro, Phase 2, Idle Pearl, IQ Emerald, probably a High Road. I think I'm missing one that's gonna go normally. Matter of fact, I'm going to go look at the bags right now because I know for a fact I'm taking something over the high road. Nah. Halo Pearl, probably Halo Pearl. Just to have something there. Now, if I can't take those, that's actually really tricky. Okay, if I can't take those, then it's definitely going to be a High Road. Probably my High Road T, which is an Overseas High Road Pearl. Astrophysics. Idle. Is that 5? So it would be, okay, so it would be Idle, Astrophysics, that's 2, High Road for 3. I don't still have my physics. Okay, so the 2 High Roads, the Idle, Astrophysics. What else do I have? Probably a regular IQ Tour, because it'd be hard to be without those. Oh, MVP. I forgot about the MVP. That probably that's what will make the league bag over the Halo Pearl. So the Halo Pearl will be in the second string. So yes, that. Do you think there will be a spec hybrid or Pearl cover stock? Probably not, because I talked to Chad McLean about that. I had a live stream where we were talking about that, and he said that the characteristics of that spec cover, it's early, it's rolly, it's smooth, and those are not exactly the characteristics you think of or that you would want in a hybrid or Pearl ball. And so they're trying to figure out. Hi, mister. Hi, baby. I know how to. What are you doing? You're probably ready for bedtime, aren't you? You're trying to tell me it's time to go to sleep. It's bedtime? You go to bed? You go to bed? Okay. Getting excited about going to bed. All right. So they're trying to do some more testing and kind of figure out how they can make hybrid and Pearl versions of those and make them actually be like you would want a hybrid and a Pearl ball to be. So hopefully, but maybe not. I currently throw a Phase 2. If it's ready to be replaced, would you get another one or go to a Pro Motion? Like 2 weeks ago, if you'd have asked me that, I'd have said just get a Pro Motion. I would say probably get another Phase 2. They're very, very close, but the differences are more shape-wise. The Phase 2 I can play further away from the pocket with because it needs less friction to get going. The Pro Motion I can play closer to the pocket with. I can play more the middle of the lane because it will still shape in the middle of the lane. It's smooth enough to where I can play the middle of the lane and have it still be continuous. The Phase 2 plays better further away from the pocket when you give it a little bit of room to work with. Inside, it doesn't. It needs. I don't know. It's tricky to explain because the Pro Motion actually needs time to wind up, so I don't want to play as much angle with it. But the Phase 2, if you play too close to the pocket, it can kind of be flat. So I actually would play further away from the pocket with the Phase 2 and closer to the pocket with the Pro Motion. They're about similar in traction. They're similar on overall hook potential, they're fairly similar on shape. Again, the Phase 2 doesn't need as much friction to get going as the ProMotion does. And they're both really continuous. They're both really similar, but this last weekend when I went to that Springfield doubles tournament, I saw a fairly big difference between the Phase 2 and the ProMotion that I hadn't seen before. So I would just get another Phase 2, but at the same time, the differences are so minimal. Again, it kind of goes back to like Tiger Woods can tell the difference between a Pro V1 and a Pro V1X. I can't, no clue. It's still going to go that way. So for most people, they're not going to see much difference, if anything, out of the Phase 2 and the ProMotion. The ProMotion is just going to be more durable and give you kind of the same look. If you wanted something different, you could probably still go ProMotion. I still see a fair bit of differences between them. I had thought that I was going to stop carrying my Phase 2, but that's not the case. I'm going to keep carrying that around. For Storm Roto, what would you suggest for the last league of the night when the lanes are all beat up? Hustle Link's really good at that. High Road Pearl's really good at that. High Road's actually pretty good at that if you throw the ball harder. It hooks just a little bit more than the High Road Pearl, but they've got that same kind of, they're wildly consistent, or really consistent, the break point for how long they go down the lane. They just act like they're never going to read anything, and then all of a sudden they make the corner. So I have a High Road, but it's time to go up 15 pounds. I like about thinking about High Road X. I'm a low rev bowler. I throw about 15 miles an hour. Even though you're a low rev bowler, that's kind of on the medium or lower end of medium speed. So I think you'll probably be all right with it. The thing about the High Road X is it's actually a solid cover stock, so it's going to act really nicely if it's just going a little too long. You take the surface down to, or take the shine off or something, it's still going to work out pretty good. So if you like the High Road X shapes more like the High Road Pearl, but it's still very unmistakably High Road. So yeah, I think the High Road X would be pretty good. Just got my ProMotion, only have 10 games bowled. The one thing it's squirrely on a long pattern. I have 16 plus on speed and higher revs. What would you change the surface to and what grit? Probably take it to 2000. It may not be the best choice for a longer pattern because it's really smooth and it's a symmetric core too. So it's going to be good for medium to heavy, but not like heavy long stuff. That's going to be more where you're going to look at the halo, the physics, the halo vision, stuff like that. The ProMotion's not quite a heavy or long pattern ball just because it's so smooth. You can try taking it to 1000 or 2000. Halo Vision or Crux Prime for a low rev? Actually, either of them. Halo Vision or Crux Prime for a low rev? Yeah, either of them. My wife, both. The Halo Vision hooks a lot, and so on the low rev side of things, it's going to hook a lot and it's going to back end a lot. The Crux Prime, on the other hand, is going to hook a lot, but it's not going to back end quite so much. So it's going to be, if you want more punch, the Halo Vision is going to do it. And if you still want something that's going to give you hook but be controllable down at the pocket, it's still got a really nice motion for people who throw it slower and have a little bit lower rev rate. The one thing that the Crux Prime is not good at is low revs and high speed. If you've got low revs and low speed, it's still going to look pretty good. Anything but high speed bowlers are going to look pretty good with the Crux Prime. Higher speed bowlers are going to look better with the Vision because it both hooks a lot and it back ends a lot. So it really depends on what you want, but makes a difference. I also have a Choice Pearl and a Halo Pearl. Yeah, so you've already got the higher end of the spectrum covered, so yeah, I think you'd be fine with that High Road X. ProMotion Nationals 2020, it looked really good on both the shots this year. And the funny thing about the spec cover is it reads the lane more than the pattern. I took out my Idle Pro on both the team pattern and the doubles and singles pattern. It was not throwable on team. Way too much ball. I had to throw it so far away from the pocket to get it down the lane that it was not the right choice by any stretch of the imagination for that pattern, no matter how deep I got or how straight I played or whatever. Idle Pro was not happening. It looked really good on the singles double shot though. The ProMotion, literally looked the same on both patterns. I could tell that I was getting a little bit more length out of the doubles and singles pattern, but it looked really good when I moved in on the team pattern, and it looked really good for the first 2 or 3 games on the double and singles pattern. Now, I was tight as hell and couldn't throw a good shot twice to save my life, but the ball reaction looked really good. When I actually threw it good, it looked really good. And again, I used it for several games at the Springfield doubles tournament, where the Idle Pro was just a little too over-under. I couldn't use it because it was a little too quick on friction, not quite enough on the oil, and the Pro Motion just blended that all really, really well. So Pro Motion definitely. Is Pro Motion in between the IQ Tour and the Phase 2? No. It's pretty well right on top of the Phase 2 in terms of everything. The differences are really, really minute unless you get really, really deep into it. If you start looking at, 4 or 5 levels worth of different reaction characteristics, that's when you're going to start to see the differences. But at surface value, for all intents and purposes, they're really, really similar. Thank you, Adrienne. Last question, I'm adding the IQ Emerald. What would be good to step up to match with it? Would the Idle Pro be a good partner with the Idle Pearl? Yes, the Idle Pro, just yes. If anybody asked me a question about the Idle Pro, should I get it? Would it pair well with it? Yes. The answer is yes. So, all right. It is, I've now been rambling for 3 solid hours now, so I think I'm probably going to, this was a wild stream. HDMI switch definitely doesn't work. We talked some accessory bags and jerseys. We talked about socks. We surfed websites. I tripped all over myself and just generally sweated the whole time. What's in between the IQ Tour and the Phase 2? Pretty solidly Idle Pro. Idle Pro shapes more than the Phase 2, but the Phase 2 definitely got more traction. So yeah. Again, the answer to everything is just the Idle Pro. I mean, that's just what it is. Yep. As always, happy to answer the questions. Thank you very much. We're gonna go take a nap or something. Check out this nifty jersey on the Storm website. Don't forget to check out the Turbo website, the Turbo YouTube channel. Big Force socks, go check those out. Definitely, they're great. You just won't even believe it that you're going to be, getting excited about socks, and until you get Big Force socks. My Logo Infusion jerseys. If you go to Logo Infusion Designs on their website and go to the bottom of page 3 and the start of page 4, those are my jersey designs. They added to the website. More colors are coming soon. Great stuff to be comfortable in and still simple and sharp for league or tournaments without looking douchey or like a tool. Put together your accessory bags and stuff. Hit thumbs up, please, before you leave. Wifey request. Yes, YouTube's algorithms are built on likes, so definitely appreciate that. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Now I've got to go find something to do with the HDMI switch because it's obviously not going to work for this. So. Thanks a bunch, everybody. We will see you next time.